Blog Talk Radio.
Race First, Black Family, Race First. You are listening live to War on the Horizon, and we are just about to begin our roundtable discussion this evening. We are getting set up here. This is your host for this evening's discussion, Sister Nefertari, Mary Moot, and Zinga out of the Children of Southampton. I'm coming to you live, Black Family, from the city of Africanly Love, formerly known as Philadelphia, also known as Philadelphia, however you want to take it. But we're coming to you strong, we're coming to you proud and live, happy to be Black, and happy to be in a position to even have this discussion with you that we are going to get into this evening. It's going to be a very, very exciting discussion. The title of this evening's discussion is Genocide, Justice for the White Race. Again, is Genocide, Justice for the White Race. Today is Saturday, November 27th, 2010, and we have this is our second monthly roundtable. It's held the last Saturday of each month, and tonight we have on the call, in just a few moments, we'll have Brother Louis Ali out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're going to have Brother Gus T Renegade with us live from the West Coast. Brother King Samir, that soldier, our good brother coming from the city of Africanly Love as well. And also the Irritated Genie of Soufeese from War on the Horizon. Of course, his organization is the brainchild behind this entire station. And again, I am Sister Nefertari, Mary Moot, and Zinga. So we are so excited to be with you again this evening. Our objective with this round table discussion is to discuss pertinent issues facing the global Black community. That's what we seek to achieve every month by having this round table, and we hope that you are finding these discussions to be productive and constructive, as our good brother Gus would say, and hopefully that you're learning. We also invite you to partake in this discussion. I'm going to give the call-in numbers. You can call in and listen via phone if you're having any internet trouble, or if you will not be here for the entire time, or if you know somebody who is not by the computer and you want them to tune in as well. All you have to do is dial 760-569-7676. Again, that's 760-569-7676. And we're just getting Brother Louis Ali on the line, so just hear the background, little ringing there. Let's see what we got. All right, Brother Louis Ali, we have you on the line with us.
But I'm not happy.
All right, Brother Louis Ali, we have you on the line with us. We have some feedback. Somebody's playing.
Hello?
Somebody's playing radio in the background. I think it's gone now. Okay, can you hear us, brother?
I can hear you, but I need to call you on another line.
Okay, call back into the conference call line, then I would assume. Do you know the conference call, 760-569?
Hold on
1
second.
Mm-hmm.
6056976.
Right. I'll give it, because I was just giving it to the listening audience anyway, so I'll repeat it as well. 760-569-7676. Again, that's okay. 760-569-7676, and the brother's going to call back in. And also wanted to say the password, the participant code is 948-656#. So you got to enter 948-656#. Now, we will not take questions or comments probably until the latter part of the first hour going into the second hour. But, of course, you are welcome to call into that number and listen online to the show until we get set up. So we are really, again, excited that everyone is able to join us. You all just bear with me a second. I want to share this on my Facebook, because if you hear me typing in the background, I just want to share the link, let everybody know what we're talking about tonight. And the topic is genocide justice for the white race? I just wanted to type that up there. Live now. Make sure you share this with your family and your friends. Tweet it, whatever you need to do. Put it on your Facebook. Tell them to go to, they are near an internet. They, again, can go to waronthehorizon.com. They can click on any of the pages, has the right on the bottom right-hand side, listen now button, and they can listen to the show. Or, one more time, they can call in. You can text them the number, and they call in to 760-569-7676, and the participant code is 948656#. All right, Black family. Let me just make sure I'm the only sister on tonight's round table, and I want to let y'all know that's an honor for me. It's a privilege to be amongst all these strong Black men who I know are out here fighting racism, white supremacy on a daily basis. So I am honored. Just so it also, so as a point of clarification for all the listening audience, what we're going to be doing with the round table is every month, a different host here at War on Horizon will lead the roundtable discussion. So last month we had Brother Gus leading the roundtable discussion, and this month I will be leading the roundtable discussion, and we'll rotate amongst the other hosts as well. Now, with that being said, I'm going to hold my comments in terms of my thoughts on this issue probably until the latter part of the show. I'm going to play the white devil advocate, if that's all right with you, brothers. I'm going to play the white devil's advocate role tonight, and we're going to have this discussion. Is everybody ready to go?
I'm just trying to get Brother Ali connected.
Okay.
I'm not certain what number he'll be dialing in from. I guess
it should be a 225 number.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. I'll look out for that on the switchboard, and I'll announce when I see that pop up on the switchboard.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to start off. What I like to do tonight is I want to go around this table, and I want to ask each of you brothers to basically let us know what your position is on the question of, is genocide justice for the white race? So I'm just going to go around. We'll start with I know Brother Gus and Brother Irritated, Genie, you all have just been talking about this for the last couple of days on the other programs during the week. So I'll start with, let's go Brother Gus. Brother Gus, what are your thoughts on, is genocide justice for the white race? What's your position on that?
I guess number one, I believe Brother Ali has dialed in, so I will add him to the line. Brother Ali, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am, Brother Gus.
Okay, outstanding. Okay, so we got him on, should be ready to roll. Is genocide justice for the white race? What definition are we using for justice?
Hello?
Yeah, can I be heard? What?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just heard some click. I thought we got lost. So I heard something drop out.
Okay. Yeah, what definition?
Well, we're just using the standard definition of justice, which, you know, we can just go with the dictionary. I'm talking about, I'm going to go with the dictionary definition right now.
Okay.
Which is basically just behavior or treatment, the quality of being, I'm not going to say that word, the quality of being reasonable, quality of being reasonable, the administration of law or authority in maintaining this, you know, that's pretty much it, you know, just behavior or treatment, you know, having genuine respect for people, that type of thing. But when I'm thinking of that, that's the dictionary definition. But when I'm thinking of justice, I mean in terms of reciprocity, what is due, balance and order in the universe. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I'm talking about, you know, judging the white race for what they have done to us as black people. You know, actually putting them on a trial, so to speak, and judging them for their acts. So that's my thoughts about justice. And anybody else can chime in on here if they want to give a definition.
Black power.
Black power. Brother King
I
Samir.
would say, as we are taught by the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad, when it comes to justice and what is justice, justice is the reward for good and the punishment for evil. It's the same science as we hear Grandma say, what goes around comes around. And it may be double fold, it may be triple fold, it may be greater fold than that. But it is the reward for good and the punishment for this evil white man.
Would anyone else like to chime in on that before we move forward?
I'm fine with it. Whatever definition, I already know where I'm going with it, so whatever definition we have, I'm be able to work with it. I'm with you guys tonight.
All right. Brother Lewis, did you have any comment before we move forward?
I'm in total agreement. It bears witness to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about justice. Justice is the science of fair dealing with one another to create.
We try not to say fair. Gus has got us in the habit of trying not to say that word. So we replace the reasonable. Did you hear me, Brother Lewis?
Yes, ma'am. We're fine. We can go with that, too.
Okay. I'm sorry. You can continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's why you may have heard some snickering in the background.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Okay. I'm just looking at the definition because I know justice is one of those words that white people, very powerful suspected racists, have said that justice is not definable and it kind of moves around depending on who you talk to. So that's one that I try and make sure I'm very clear on the term and what definition is attached to it. If we're saying that justice in this context, would it be justice to annihilate the white race? Is that reasonable treatment given the context? Is that reasonable punishment for their behavior, their conduct against non-white people? If I'm using those definitions, do I think that is justice? I'll have to think. I think, I will reserve my response until later in the discussion. I'll have to hear a little bit about, I'll have to pay attention to the dialogue. I have some questions I would like to ask, and I'll reserve my response until later in the dialogue.
Okay, that's reasonable. All right, we're going to move on to Brother Louis Ali. What is your position on is genocide justice for the white race?
If we use the term justice and genocide synonymously, then it is. Based on, from what people who say that they believe in Christianity believe that God is not mocked, and whatsoever you sow it, that you're going to reap, then eventually, based on the deeds that they've sown all over the planet consistently, then this is the fitting punishment. All it takes is truth to be present in order for justice to take place, because their world is rooted in deception and lies. Once this takes place, then you have a day of judgment on the earth, and the masses of non-white people will be the jury. And the deeds that they've planted on the earth will come back to them, the same way an old country boy, being an old country boy, would plant a garden, and at a certain season, everything that you plant in that garden will grow. Well, we have to ask the question, what have these people planted on the planet? Have they planted the seeds of love? If they have, then the seeds of love will be growing. But if they planted the seeds of hatred and destruction and genocide, which is what we're talking about, which is the result of people becoming into consciousness and pursuing the course of justice, then they will be removed.
And that family, I hope you are strapped in. This is going to be a wild ride tonight. Let me just clarify to everybody. We're going to ask some tough questions. We're going to have some serious dialogue. This is not a dialogue that you are used to hearing. This is not a dialogue you're going to hear if you turn on Oprah Winfrey. This is, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is not dialogue you're going to hear on Comedy News Network, formerly known as CNN. This is only the type of dialogue you're going to hear on War on Horizon. So, again, strapped in tight, because we just getting started, Black family. Let's move on down the line. Brother King Samir, could you please state your position on is genocide justice for the white race?
According to the history of the African family, as I sit and I was just listening to Brother Louis Ali, I had a vision in my mind of how when we wanted to laugh, even amongst each other, on the plantation, how we had to stick our heads in barrels, and what the cracker called the laughing barrel. I had a vision of how we had to walk or jump in the street so the cracker could walk on the sidewalk. I'm envisioning my great-great-grandmother or my great-great-great-grandmother being pulled apart by horses. I'm watching and seeing my great-great-great-sister being hung and lynched with the baby cut out of her womb as she's about to bring forth to the plantation. I'm seeing all of the black men who have been castrated with their penises and their ears and their noses and their toes and their fingers and just pieces of their skin put in what the cracker calls the pickle jar. I'm seeing little young girls being bombed in a church amongst their own people, not bothering anyone. I'm seeing little black boys being molested by a cracker Catholic priest. I'm seeing a generation and a generation and a generation and a generation for over 500 years of people who have been meticulously and very wickedly, masterfully created into a degree where we have been miseducated to the point where we laugh at our own culture. I'm seeing a people who have been set upon with biological and chemical warfare on an everyday basis for the last 500 years. I'm seeing our brothers and sisters being held in slave ships in chains with maybe 1 inch to move, defecating and urinating on themselves and each other and vomiting and not wanting to eat and rebelling against these crackers on these slave ships, and they're jumping overboard so they would not become a slave to this no good bastard white man. Genocide, fratricide, and this cracker even has us committing self-homicide. So, is it justice for genocide for the white race? Oh, you damn right. After all that we have gone through, and still to this very day, now the cracker has dropped a faggot bomb on us. And we're suffering more than crackers are. We have gone completely buck wild with this faggot bomb. I'm seeing young black boys just today with these damn Viking boots and these Uggs and whatever the hell they want to call them. Tight pants and just looking like a sissy. That's mental slavery. That is genocide through sexual preference. This cracker has broken us down from each and every single degree of our lives. And do we do? Like Brother Chica say, we pray. We pray to the same pastor who brought us here and treated us under the conditions. I'm seeing black women being tarred and severed and spanked in front of a crowd of white men, and then raped, and then murdered, and then burned, and then cut up to pieces, and burned again. This cracker deserves nothing but complete and total annihilation. From the grandma all the way down to the newborn cracker just born 4 seconds ago. The little bastard deserves to be thrown upside the wall. Watch his head bust all over the wall. Brand new cracker brains all over the damn wall. Why? Because that is what they have continuously done to us. That is what these Philadelphia police, Virginia police, Boston police, Chicago police, D.C. police, Baltimore police, I can name every goddamn cracker state in the United States of America. The police department is right now, at this very minute, even in California, Brother Gus, can't forget you, right now at this very minute, is beating the hell out of one of our people. Right now. If you don't believe me, turn on your news tonight. Turn the 11 o'clock news on, and I guarantee you there will be at least one segment of police brutality on the news. But you maybe find 5 tomorrow in the Sunday's newspaper. So these crackers deserve nothing but annihilation. There is no more talk. There don't need to be no damn trial, no tribunal. Don't need to be none of that. Get the damn swords, get the guns, say praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Let's get the busting these backwoods right upside their brain cells and watch their blood spill down the streets of Philadelphia, spill down the street right down the hill of San Francisco. I would love to see that. Watch the crackers' blood just flow down a hill. For revolution and freedom for the black woman and the black child? Come on, black man, there is nothing greater than that. Stop all this cooning and let's keep it real where it is. The cracker deserves to die, bottom line. And I'm
done. That is Brother King Samir, Black Example, in case you didn't know, in case you just been introduced. That's how we do it in the city of African Love. That's right. Brother Irritated Genie, I hope you're gonna come in strong, brother, because that's some serious that's a serious trail you gotta follow right there. That brother is laying it down like that. So what is your position on genocide? Is it justice for the white race?
Well, I've been having a number of people telling me that I've been long-winded on these shows, and based on that excellent explanation that our brother just gave us, I'm going to make it quick. Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that was real quick. That's it?
That's it. We're done. Let's push it.
All right. Y'all, I know y'all think it's going to be an easy night, this little question, this little yes or no question, but it ain't that easy. I ain't letting y'all off the hook that easy tonight. So
great, Nefertari. I neglected that we have one more member with us. Justice is also on the line, and she wanted to make sure she got her response in as well. My apologies.
Yes. Oh, how are you today? You look to Justice.
Hello.
There you go. All right. How you?
I'm doing good.
Go right ahead. Come right on in.
Okay. I was just going to say, can you guys please lower the profanity?
Yes.
You heard it? Can we do that, brothers? You heard from Little Queen. Queen to be.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
You got it.
Thank you.
Any other requests? No questions?
Nope, I don't have any more requests, but thank you.
Okay.
Could we hear her answer to the question, if all white people should be killed, if that would be justice?
Sure. You can come in and ask. You can answer the question as well. Did you hear that, Little? Is genocide justice for the white race? What does Little Sister Justice have to say about that?
I don't know if justice means kill all white people, but I still have to think about that some more.
Okay. Well, now that we know you're on the line, we're going to come around to you with some of these questions, and of course, you can jump in as well and give your feedback. We're honored to have you. So I am no longer the only female, only black female on the air tonight. So we got a young sister as well who's going to give in that feedback and join in this discussion. So we are honored to have you with us as well. Let's get a little deep into this, brother. Now, we've gotten almost everyone's position. I know Brother Gus wants to kind of hold off a little while longer. And Brother, just let me know whenever you want to jump in with that. But we're going to move a little deeper. Now, again, so as Black family knows, I'm going to be playing the white devil advocate tonight. The white devil's advocate. And those of you who don't know what that means, that just means that I'm going to be, stirring up some trouble tonight. I'm not necessarily going to, I'm going to appear to be, I hate to use the term, but objective, where I'm going to, as for now anyway. So my question is, don't we need whites around? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but who's going to operate the utility companies? You know what I'm saying? How you going to get your electric? It's real cold right now in the city back in we love. Who's going to turn on your gas and your water? How are we going to eat if we don't have crackers around? We don't own any grocery stores. I ain't been down to Jamal's, 24 hours of grocery. I don't know where that exists. So how are we going to eat? How are we going to live if there's no whites around? I'll start with, what would you go in the same order? We'll start with Brother Gus.
I have concluded that we are in a global system of racism, white supremacy. I believe, as I said on the October roundtable, white people control whether or not non-white people have access to water. I believe that is a true statement, and I made it last month and nobody contested. So I'm operating that that's still true, unfortunately, as of Saturday, November 27th, 2010. If white people were, I guess I could go with it two ways. Number one, I don't think that's going to happen today. I don't think non-white people have the ability to eradicate all white people today, and tomorrow's not looking too good either. And two, I think non-white people, if all white people left or were killed immediately, I think it would become readily apparent that, whoa, we really have not been in charge of anything. White people have controlled pretty much every aspect of our lives. I have even said previously, our ignorance, and I mean black people, our ignorance would bring things to a screeching halt if white people left. It would be revealed, whoa, we have a lot of catching up to do. So I do think that's serious. I don't think that means we could not take over and run things and have the planet operating smoothly, just that that's not the case right now, and white people leaving, we would feel that void immediately. If I could flash back to Hurricane Katrina, I think those black people would have felt it immediately. If white people didn't decide to go in and do something, I think we all would have observed how impotent the system of white supremacy has made black people, non-white people, worldwide. So I think that should be considered and thought about. Not that we can't take over and do these things, but just that's not the case right now, and we have a lot of catching up to do because of what racism, white supremacy has done to us worldwide.
Brother Louis Ali? The question was, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to make sure I'm on point.
I just wanted to repeat the question just for clarity. Don't we need whites around? I mean, we don't need them to operate the utility companies, the electric, the water, the gas. They need the food from them. That's pretty much was the question. Don't we need them around?
I want to say this, and this is probably going to open up another front or channel in this very serious discussion. We don't need them around any more than they needed us around in 1865. And the reason why I bring that up is because if you go back in history and look at the condition of Caucasians in 1865 when the war was over, particularly down south, black people did all of the work. They done everything, and a good book to document that is The Secret Relationships Between Blacks and Jews, Volume 2. All of the work that was done on the plantation and off the plantation was done by skilled black people who left the plantation and were lied to, and I'm taking the scenic route, but I have to bring this up, by a president who promised them 40 acres and a mule, and as quiet as it's kept down south, many black men were joining the Masons, and they were arming themselves, and they, according to the Knights of Liberty, they had got up to the number of almost 50,000 that wanted to fight for their freedom while white people were fighting each other, which they're getting ready to do again. But they were convinced by Frederick Douglass to join the Union Army because they would get 40 acres and a mule and better ammunition, better boots and other things like that. And so they turned away from what Garnett was saying and many other people were saying down south. So today, if Caucasians left, we would be in the condition that they were in 1865. But the difference is that once they leave, we would stop worshiping them as an idol god, which the masses of original people worship white people as idol gods, and because they worship them as gods, many of them do the work today, but they don't have the confidence to do it for themselves. Well, when they are no longer around, they'll say, oh, we don't have any Caucasian people around. But see, when Caucasian people are removed, just like the movie The Wizard of Oz, their mentality that they put in the masses of non-white people has to change. So if we physically removed all of them tonight, it would take a while before we could remove the funky smell, the funky aura, the evil disposition that they placed upon us. That's part of the reason why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I believe he was the first begotten of us mentally and spiritually dead black people who dealt with our problem at the spiritual root. He called them the skunk of the planet Earth. When they left out of Africa under colonialism, they put some kangaroo Negroes in charge who basically are junior white people. That's the way they make you. It's like whenever you're under an oppressor, he always puts his boot down on you, and you begin to be just like him. So you can tell the difference in an original person and the way black people were originally and the way we are now, because we lie like white people, steal like white people, cheat like white people, do all of the stuff that white people do, and we just have the color complexion, which many white people are trying to get that from us. And we are almost just like them. So if we wipe them off the planet today, the seriousness of this discussion is, what are we going to do to destroy the mentality that they've given us, the spirit of lack of African or Afrocentric spirit that does not exist in our people today. So in destroying them, we have to immediately go to work on reconstruction, the foundation of our spirituality, our love, our commitment from our women to be very loyal to the cause, to teach our children how they are to grow the nation and grow this planet the way we did and balance it. So it's beyond just their physical removal, calling them filthy names, which they are, all the names that you call them. But the thing of it is that we have to dig deep, 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 deep and get into the spirit of what makes them like they are and what makes us our original selves.
Wow, that was pretty strong. Pretty strong. And we're going to get into that in our next question. Some of the things you just hinted on or touched on, brother, we're going to get into that in our next question as well. Let's move on down the line. Brother King Samir, don't we need the whites around? I know you raring to go, brother. I know you raring to go, but, what's going to happen with Pico? I mean, it's cold tonight. We know they're going to come. Who's going to be in charge of the PVW, bro? We got to warm the babies up.
Let me say this. We are the greatest builders in the universe. There is nothing we cannot create nor do. Even a crackhead know how to come and turn your electric on. See? Because we constantly have that survival mode kick in us, even when we are at our lowest. So if Scott Tissue said, okay, black people, we will no longer be making toilet paper, you know how many stuck butt cheeks it'll be tomorrow morning? But guarantee you, a black man and his powerful third eye will come up with something immediately. This is how we roll. We are naturally a people of survival instinct. The cracker learned how to survive from us. We taught him how to cook. We taught the no-good savage how to clean. We taught them how to walk and be civilized. Okay? So everything that they learned everything that they learned came from us. So we should be actually training and holding community survival classes in each and every community. If you got a brother or sister who knows about the electrician's degree, you get up with that brother or sister, have them come and teach a class or something in your organization, or invite them out to your home and have to teach you or one-on-one. Okay? We don't need Pico. Hell, before there was electricity, okay, which always existed, let's not get it twisted, electricity always existed. Okay? But once again, this cracker manipulated and monopolized off of what we already do on an everyday basis. Electricity flows in our body each and every day. All right? So there's nothing that we cannot do. There's nothing we cannot create. Overnight, if the cracker decides to cut the water off, guess what? It'll be plenty of black people at the beach tomorrow morning. Because we're going to find a way to survive. Now, Brother Gus talked about Hurricane Katrina. And as sad as it was, and as sad as our people don't know, not all of our people are survival ready, okay, but this is a wake-up call. I was in New Orleans with water up to my neck, carrying people on my back, watching dead bodies float past me with bullets holes in their heads. So when Sister Cynthia McKinney talked about the 5,000 black men that were found that's been murdered, that's real. I saw it with my own eyes. Okay? And I've been around people on the roofs, and one brother who was a Marine, now since we're talking about survival, one brother who was a Marine was sitting on his roof for days. Okay? No food, no water, didn't know how he was going to survive at all. But this man's thinking survival mode kicked in. And he noticed how all of the helicopters and all of the supplies and everything were going to the white folks. Not too far from him. So what he did, he said, him and his brother walked down from the house in the water, okay, and they started getting elder crackers in the wheelchair, taking the crackers back up to his roof, and guess what happened? The crackers started dropping off supplies right at the brother's roof, because now they see white folks. See? So even in our lowest, we had to quickly think and say to him, we need this white woman in this wheelchair, but we should be pushing her in the river along so the hurricane can just swallow her up. We need this cracker to survive. So we have to create community survival classes in each and every community. We should not have to depend on the white man's bus transportation because he's going to shut it down. We should not have to depend on Superfresh and Whole Foods because they're going to shut it down. We should not have to depend on any Chrysler or Ford or any of that because the cracker going to shut it down. We should be building a nation of our own anyway. So when the cracker shut it down, we can look this cracker dead in his eyes and say, guess what, Mr. White Man? We no longer need you. Your services are rendered. Goodbye, judge, jury, and here's your execution. Black power.
Black power, black power. Brother Irritated Genie, don't we need the white power, brother? I mean, down in D.C., we got PCO for electricity up here. We got PGW for gas. I'm sure y'all got something similar down there in D.C. What you going to do? What we going to do about that?
We got Pepco and Washington Gas. The analogy I use for this, and I want brothers and sisters out there, if you listen to the show, when it comes up and you don't agree with us, call up and challenge what you're hearing here. Or if you agree, call in and make your contribution as well. But I'm going to say I use an analogy to look at it like this. If we have a pedophile, that pedophile's in the house, and he can have a wife, and he can give her 5 or 6 children. Now, he buys food for those 5 or 6 children. He helps them with their homework, but he brutalizes them. Now, does he help them? Sure. Do they rely on him for sustenance? Sure. But all things held equal, if you get rid of that pedophile, it would be better for those children to struggle to figure out how they can make it and start learning survival. It would be better for them to struggle in life than to be under the abusive arm of a pedophile who only seeks to savagely destroy their soul. The European has been savagely ravaging African culture, black life, since they have gotten power on this planet. I don't care what we would go through. I don't care how difficult it would be. I don't care how many people would starve. If we get rid of the devil, if we get rid of the problem on planet Earth, we can put our situation back together. Conversely, if we don't get rid of these crackers, then we're going to continue to get brutalized until we get exterminated, and it's coming quickly. So my answer to that is that whatever it is that they provide as a benefit to black people, it is not worth them existing.
Wow. Black family, I hope you are we getting into this. This is real talk here at War on the Horizon. It ain't it's not something you're gonna sit back and drink your tea and eat your crumpets with. This is some serious talk. Hopefully your strategy is pretty tight. We're getting in this thing deeper now. We talked about, whether or not we would need them around, to operate the utility companies, but Brother Louis Ali, in his response, he touched, let me back up. Little Sister Justice, before I get into the next question. Do you think, don't you think we need whites around or, to operate? You got water when you turn on your faucet and you go down with the family to get groceries from the grocery store. Do you think, we need them around for those things, to provide those things for us still? Do you have any insight into that question?
White people do have the supplies and things because they are the ones that have everything. So if we need to get something from them, then get it. But I would prefer that we don't have no white people around because they are the ones causing the problem.
I like that answer.
You heard it from the mouth of the baby. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of like a little speechless over here. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm playing white devil's advocate. Very good, interesting answer. Let me move forward.
Can I ask the question? Is that possible? Or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I disagreed with something that was stated. I believe King Samir said that I think he was referring to black people are the greatest builders. Am I quoting you correctly, sir?
Say again, Brother Gus?
When you were giving your response, did you say that we, referring to black people, are the greatest builders on the planet, or did I mishear you?
Yes, sir. Greatest builders and leaders on the planet.
Okay. Right now, I would say I don't believe that to be true, and I would like evidence. And I want to be clear. For me, evidence would not be anything that we black people built 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. Like I would want something right now. Like if we won a basketball court and someone said we are the best basketball players in the universe, they couldn't point to a championship that they won 100 years ago or 500 years ago. We'd have to play right now, and they would have to show me that they are the best. So can you point to evidence that would support that black people right now, 2010, are the greatest builders on the planet? And if anyone on this line can tell me what they have built, I would like to know that.
Yeah, well, we can start with hip-hop. Ain't no cracker create that. And the white man is going buck wild. He's losing his own children through something that we built and created, hip-hop.
Anything else?
I'll just start and leave it with that one for now.
Okay.
Anyone else want to chime in on that? That's just a challenge. That's a challenge.
I would. This is Brother Louis Ali, and I'd like to. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to chime in on that because Brother Gus makes a very, very good point. But the point of it should also take into consideration that if you look at the White House, that's built by black people, but we don't receive the credit for it. And many of the jobs that I'm on, the work is done by non-white people, particularly original people who speak Spanish because they were conquered by the Spaniards. The supervision and the lion's share of the money is given and represented by Caucasian people. But if you actually go out on the ground and see who does the work, you'll see the Chicano out there who are not Caucasian people but are operating in Spanish and operating under the influence of white oppression even as we are. If you look at the architecture in many of the buildings, and when I call recent history, Brother Gus, I would say within the last 50 years. But what I'm seeing, being a contractor myself, and I have to be completely honest about this, you make a good point, is the dumbing down of black people to be in legitimate educational fields and sources. And I want to give an example, Brother King Samir, such as in the next 10 to 20 years, one of the most economical, beneficial areas of expertise to be in is going to be agribusiness, the art of feeding yourself. For sisters, clothing, the art of making your own clothes, the science of purifying water, which, as someone pointed out, is a natural resource. Louis? Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, brother. I can hear you.
I don't know how much of that did you hear. Where did we stop at?
You dropped off. You were talking about the agribusiness, and you kind of faded out just shortly after
one of the most important fields will be agribusiness, which I know that Brother Gus is aware that the finest farmers on this planet were black farmers. Recently, they talked about giving the black farmers some money, but the truth of the matter is they hadn't received the money. And black people down south, and I can speak for the South, used to take their fruit and vegetables, and because they wouldn't get fair market prices for their fruit and vegetables, they would take it. Huh?
That was another fair.
Can you hear?
Try reasonable, brother.
Okay. I didn't know they were taking reasonable prices for their food. would trade with Fidel Castro down in Cuba, but they put an embargo against them, mostly because black people were making some money off of their product. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even when black people do build something, their name is erased from being the person who represents building it, so to speak. And if you talk about contracting, and I know this is not our show, but it has a lot to do with it, I believe, if they go and write a DBE program or any kind of program to where black people are going to be involved, what they do is they immediately also attach to that you have to have a bond. So if it's $1 million job, you have to be able to bond for $1 million or whatever it is. And oftentimes they make sure that original people do not have the $1 million to bond the job. So even if they get the job, it has to go in a white company's name. But there are a tremendous amount of black people who can build, but most of the time don't have the money to bond projects. When in D.C., when the mayor who they scandalized his name about crack cocaine, Marion Barry, was busted, on the surface, they talked about crack cocaine. But underneath the surface, he was actually implementing programs that helped black business people, namely contractors, come from beneath the poverty and middle class line by helping them to become millionaires by getting large contracts to do what we do.
And I think that Brother Irritated Genie also wanted to chime in as well. Did I hear that, brother?
Yeah, I did. And sometimes I say things lightheartedly, but we have very serious dialogue. I think that's a great analysis that Brother Lewis gave. But I'm going to say something, and it's really, I'm glad that we have this kind of dialogue because in spirit, I'm in 100% agreement with my brother King Samir. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I know that we're the greatest builders on this planet, even at this moment. But I have to say that on paper and in reality, in terms of being able to prove that point, to be quite honest, it is not true in relation to the world that we're living in today. Meaning, I cannot show that we're building greater than whites are building. Even though everything they build is for destructive purposes, nevertheless, it doesn't matter because most of the things that we build, like Brother Louis Ali said, whites take credit for. And so even if we do build them, most times we don't know that we built them, and the whites are the ones taking our ideas, and even like hip-hop is a great example. Our brother King Samir said that. Well, I can't actually be proud of hip-hop now because of the damage that it's doing in corrupting and destroying our youth. But as it relates to how powerful it is, and the fact that we did create it, he's absolutely correct. But they have so much power that they've taken it and corrupted it so bad it's nothing to be proud of. My point is, I actually am in a situation where I'm completely split down the middle. I cannot prove in any way, shape, or form that we're the greatest builders on the planet today. The only way I can do it is go to history because before they ruled, when we ruled, we built. That's what we did. Since they've been ruling, they've been constantly destroying and manipulating and taking credit for anything that we build. And so it goes back to the original point. I don't think that we can do much of anything and have anything and be anything and be valuable, good husbands, fathers, that we can really show ourselves to be upright, dignified people as long as the system of racism and white supremacy exists. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as there's one European existing on this planet. The problem is that the potential for them doing what they've done to take rulership on this planet now exists for them to do it again. So we really have to consider what we are as a race of people with white folks in existence. And my honest answer, even though I think we're the most beautiful, grand people on the planet, when whites are around and they exist, we become nothing.
Wow. And let me just add this too. We are simulcasting live. If I'm not mistaken, correct me wrong. We are simulcasting live over on the C.O.W.S radio show on Blog Talk Radio, Brother Gus's the C.O.W.S radio show, The Context of White Supremacy. Just wanted to add that into it. So welcome to all of our listening audience who may be listening from that venue as well. The caller number, again, let me give you that because we're getting close to the top of the hour. If you want to call in, we will be taking some callers in just a few moments. The call number is 760-569-7676. Again, 760-569-7676. And the access code is 948-656#. That's 948-656#. Wow, brothers, let me tell you something. These brothers are dropping it, but we're going to get in, dig a little deeper now. You know, brother, did that sum up your question, Brother Gus, before we move to the next question? Or did you want to come back and comment to the responses to your question?
Thank you, Sister Nefertari, for the opportunity. If I could take 60 seconds, I would just say that I don't think that's a true statement, just so that's for the record. I don't believe that's a true statement, and I don't believe anything that was stated could support black people being the greatest builders as a true statement. I totally agree with what Irritated Genie just shared about hip-hop, and I believe King Samir just had an excellent broadcast with Philip A. Muhammad that would be first and last exhibit that white people flex hard in practicing racism, white supremacy with so-called hip-hop music. In fact, if I would use the basketball analogy, I think to me that shows just how much power white people have. They're so good they can take our best players, our best moves, and make us in their basket. So they get credit for all of the hoops that we score. That's what I see white people do all day, every day. We might have talent for a lot of things, but it just goes to support their system. So that, to me, is not evidence that we are great builders. And I don't believe anybody on the call listed anything that they have built personally, which is where I would have started at. I built X, Y, and Z. Here are photographs. You can go to this website and see pictures of my structure or whatever it is that I built, and nobody said that. And I think Brother Louis Ali, I think he would have to be honest and say he can't really build anything unless he gets permission from white people. I know you get real caught up with white people when you start trying to actually build a structure, and you have to go get zoning permits and all that other stuff. I would say white people get to flex real hard when you start talking about putting a physical structure down. And even once you do get it down, eminent domain, we're going to put a highway here, a park, or McDonald's, or whatever. You got to move. I think they flex that real hard on non-white people worldwide. So I think it's real important. Truth is important, particularly if we are serious about eradicating, exterminating whites worldwide. We got to be very honest about our situation. And, I think it's important just to acknowledge the pretty pitiful spot that we're in right now. I don't think we're the greatest builders. And thank you for indulging my question.
And may I say one other thing also, Sister Nefertari?
Jump right in, brother.
I think honesty and truth is good, but I also think that if we, in fact, are not great builders and white people are superior builders and superior thinkers, then we should stop playing with one another and go ahead and say, praise be to white people for being on the planet. But if we believe that it's not that they are greater builders than us or greater thinkers than us, but they operate out of deception, lies, thievery, and murder, and that we can build a civilization that is better or equal to, then this conversation becomes very relevant on why we would want to get rid of them. Because if we believe that we're going to suffer this tremendous amount because the golden white goose is no longer around, then we ought to leave them where they are. But if we believe in our hearts and soul that we have people who are more than qualified, but not given the opportunities based on white supremacy, then this discussion is relevant. But if we're not their equal, and they're God Almighty, and I know Brother Gus is not saying that, and I guess I don't believe he's saying it, but they are operating as a God here, but they have to be removed, and this discussion is relevant. I personally, all the stuff that he said about eminent domain and this kind of thing here is actual facts based on the reality we are now. But we're trying to forge and create a new reality and remove the system of white supremacy and replace that system with justice. You can't replace it with justice to yourself if your building is going to be inferior to that of theirs. That's my opinion on that.
And I would like to say one last thing, so if I can just, since we just put in one last piece. Again, even though I have to properly credit Gus with making a statement that's accurate, I can't sit here. I might not like what he's saying. I really don't like it, but I got to give credence to his reality. What I will say is this, and this is very, very true as well. If you're a real fighter, you can't think that way. Even though I'm not saying he shouldn't think that way. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about us as a race of people. We have to acknowledge that that's the reality. Just like if you're a basketball player and you're on a team and you're playing Michael Jordan and his team, you got to say, we're the best team out here. Now, you've never won a championship. They got 6 championships. You're about to go play them in a championship game. But if you think that they're better than you, you're not going to win. It doesn't matter that you know that they have proven themselves to score more points, have a better record than you, you haven't beaten them before, but going into that game, you have to think like a fighter who intends to win. I'm better than them. This is why I'm going to be better than them. And then you got to do what Gus says. You got to prove that you're better than them by beating them in that situation, and that's where we have to get to, where we beat whites, where we build better structures than them, where we take tip and tack in anything that they do, and we outshine them. And if I may, that is where we were so much further ahead when we weren't integrated. When we were not integrated, when a black boxer went into the ring, he wasn't going into the ring to have a good fight. If he was fighting somebody white, he was fighting to prove that black people were superior to whites. That's what he wanted to prove. We can beat them. He got Joe Louis went in there and knocked Max Schmeling out in the first round of that second fight. And they said, God bless the child. Why? Not because they like Joe Louis, but because we beat them in something. When Serena Williams and Venus Williams went out there and played tennis, people say, well, it's not that important. It's just a sport. It is important. We need to see black people beating whites and outdoing whites in every phase of life, in every way, shape, or form imaginable all the time, so that we can then translate that into warfare and put our foot in there behind it.
Amen.
That's pretty interesting because that kind of brings me to another. Actually, now we had a comment from an anonymous person on the Skype. They wanted to challenge whether or not blacks were the greatest builders as well. They said that the greatest builders do not have a timetable. If you separate whites from their historical context, Gus would be able to say that they are not the problem. Let me read that again. The greatest, want to challenge Gus's point, the greatest builders does not have a timetable. If you separate whites from their historical context, he'd be able to say that they are not the problem.
I don't understand the question.
I think that you may, brother who sent this in may need to rephrase that. I'm actually just reading it, but I'll let him come back. He's on Skype. He's listening to the show, so I'll let him come back with that. But in the interim, this kind of goes into something to talk about because we're battling whites, at trying to physically get at them in different perspectives. We are let's say, for example, let's say, make sure we silence all those cell phones, black family, silence all those cell phones. If we physically get at them and now the cracker is no longer around, what did we do as black people if whites were not around? I mean, for example, we all know that right now the ideal standard of beauty is white. It's the white female and white male. What would our self-image look like in a world absent of white? What I'm trying to get at here is basically, now they're gone. How are we going to behave socially? And Brother Louis Holly, you kind of touched on it. I'm going to kind of let you kick it off. You touched on it in the question beforehand. But how we behave socially? Will the Woody Lynch chip still remain in effect even when there are no whites around? Because we're talking about getting rid of them. But that's just the physical aspect. What about psychological aspect? But Louis, I'll leave you to begin with you.
It's going to take us the rest of the night to get through this here.
That's all right. That's all right.
But I'd like to start with something that's probably dear to me personally, and what my personal thing is that at the root of all of the chaos and criminal activity and just foolishness that goes on in our community, my personal belief is that the linchpin of it is improper relationships between black men and black women, original men and original women. And from that improper bonding, or for those males who their ability to bond with the opposite sex due to white supremacy, that's the area that I believe that we would have to begin to reconstruct the most, because from that area there, we could begin to reconstruct the identity of the female. Sorry about this, y'all. Reconstruct the identity of the female and reconstruct the identity along with the duty of the male. And it would take some time, sometime, for us to purge ourselves from white identity, because at this point we don't have our original identity anymore, and we're in an identity crisis and really a sexual crisis, because one of the greatest resources that's missing from the black community today is black masculinity. And that's put up as thugism and all kind of stuff, everything that it's not. So I would personally start right there. And I believe that if we gave each individual in each household a goal and gave our mind a goal, then we would start creating the things that we need to be a productive, dignified, and a civilized people. But it would take some time, because I'm in agreement with Brother Gus on this point for sure. Maybe I'm saying it a little different, is that our life under white supremacy is like living in a toilet stool. And no matter if you're white collar, blue collar, or no collar, or if you're on the top or on the bottom of the society, you're still in the toilet stool, and all of us smell of the stench of white supremacy. So it takes some time to burn all of that out of your mind, go into an environment like, for example, they got some people among us that really follow Christianity because Jesus does all the work and Jesus pays the price. So we don't have a good work ethic, and we don't understand how hard work can really purify black men and make black men feel with more responsibility and more self-respect and dignity. But we would start like that. We'd start with allowing black men to create and to bring out of their mind what they vision, unprohibited by the monster of white supremacy, so to speak. And I believe that after that, over a period of time, black men and women will begin to have confidence in themselves, in their relationships, in their families, and these families would grow to strong bonds and strong communities again, and that we could rid ourselves of this spiritual demonism that we have today on the planet, and set in place the system of justice. And that's where I would start it, with black men and black women. I listened to Brother Gus's show, most of it last night, and I have to be completely honest. With respect to many of our sisters, they are totally out of touch with black men, and everybody knows the condition of black men. But very few of us are willing to say how awful the condition is of black women. We talk about how black men are running around with their pants hanging down, but very few of us will talk about the skimpy way that women dress, and civilization is measured by the condition of the female, not necessarily the condition of the man. And we got serious work in those two areas. And those of us who are nationalists or Muslim or Christian, or whatever we want to call ourselves, at the end of the day, we have to look at how good and how tight is our family structure, and what do we really know to really bond our family structures together and make our family structures tighter, not just the husband and the wife, but the extended family and even the community, so to speak. And that's really what this thing here of setting up a system of justice, to me, is all about.
I wanted to jump in there and say real quick, I wouldn't care what, I don't care what we have to do. That would be my answer real quick. It matters not one bit what we have to do. Whatever we will have to do.
I'm sorry, brother, you're saying? Did I call on you? I don't remember giving you permission. No,
I didn't give no permission, but you let Brother Louis Ali talk for like 20 minutes. I want to get that piece in it too.
I'll play that aggressive black role. I tell you to talk. I'm going to talk right now. No. Go ahead, brother.
But I'm just saying that honestly, and the brother is absolutely correct. There's a significant amount of work that we will have to do, but I cannot see anything that they will make any difference what we will have to do. Anything we will have to do with whites gone, we got to do with them here now. Anything we will have to do, we already have to do. Like, for instance, there are black people that are hungry now and starving. In parts of Africa where the whites are starving them. The only difference is when he wants to feed you, he feeds you. When he doesn't want to feed you, he doesn't feed you. But every problem that we will have without no whites, we have now here with whites, whenever they choose to give us those problems. So to me, it's an easy answer, definitively. Simply, if we got rid of the whites, there would be nobody continuing to make black male-female relationships bad. It would be nobody continuing to corrupt those things that we build that are nice, that are great. There'd be nobody there to come and corrupt them. There'd be nobody to turn us against one another. There would be nobody to make drugs, to bring it to our community, to finance people, to make money, to then turn around and destroy our community. All of these impulses that create there'd be nobody creating diseases to go give to black people to decimate our numbers. We would get rid of essentially all of the source problems that we have start with the white race, and essentially we'd be putting ourselves back together.
Wow. Brother King Samir, you want to jump in there on that one?
Well, I'm going to take it somewhere totally different. I agree with everything that was said. But I'm looking at it from a general's perspective. There's a movie called Equilibrium with Ty Diggs and whatever this crocker's name is. But the science of the movie was they were into a future. They were into a new future. And in this new future, you couldn't show emotions. You couldn't show feelings. You couldn't have anything left from the old world, as they would call it, okay? And they would have the people, everybody at 3 times a day, had to take this needle gun and put this medicine in their neck to basically keep them dumbed down. Well, I had to look at that and say, well, wait a minute. The crackers taught us to eat 3 meals a day, keep us dumbed down. Okay? And now, as I look at this movie and figure out what's going on here, and I'm looking at certain situations in the movie where one of the crackers, she had a picture of Mona Lisa and an old record player and with some old Beethoven music, and they ended up murdering her for that. They burned her right behind her alive. Okay? And, I definitely applauded that part of the movie. But the whole science of it was the crack has pretty much treated us this exact way. He has shown us exactly what he has done. He has dumbed us down to the completion that we don't even want to think anything of our past because he's teaching us not to look to build a future. So everything that we do from this point is based on fully agree, Brother Gus, white supremacy. Yes, we have to answer to this cracker for everything. But once we annihilate this cracker, we don't have to answer to him for a damn thing. And we are taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad if it cannot be shown and proven by history, science, or mathematics, it has no business in the universe. So to ask me to say, to give you proof without history, to give you proof without science or mathematical actual facts, that's pretty much like putting wisdom before knowledge because it cannot be done. And even the entire state of Washington, D.C. was drawn up by a black man. It's still in existence to this very day. Police know the route better than most of the civilians do. But does that mean we don't clean up our communities because the white man runs it? Because we got to pay rent to the cracker Jew? Does that mean we don't take care of our homes and try to build a better future for ourselves? No, we do not need white people at all. So I'm going to take it a step further and say even there has to be a law given. Once we remove the cracker and his ideology, see, now we have to play that equilibrium movie. We got to make it a law. You understand what I mean? And it has to be a just law. You cannot bring that old world thinking of white supremacy into this new world of peace and Africanly love.
Amen.
If so, you will be put to death.
Amen.
Why? Because we cannot have a generation of the same Willie Lynch ideology being birthed into a new world that we have created once we annihilated this cracker, so there has to be law.
Brother Gus, I'm sorry, Brother King Samir, was at the end of your comment, I didn't want to cut you off.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Brother Gus, I don't think we had a chance to hear your response in terms of everything you heard, but and just to reiterate the question, what would we do as black people if whites were not around? For instance, the ideal standard of beauty is white. What our self-image look like in a world absent of whites, how we behave socially. That type of thing. But you can still pretty comment on anything else that was said as well. But I just wanted to, reiterate the question to you just to go back.
Oh, okay. In terms of how we would function or behave, we being black people, without white people being on the planet anymore, being in existence anymore, I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, once they're gone, we can say, hey, we want justice. We never want a system like this again, and just go about the business of correcting all of the problems that we are facing now as a result of whites. We could still be suffering on the mental side from racism, white supremacy, and still acting crazy. It could take us a long time to get that mental side out of our psyche, our spirit. That could take a long time. Who knows? We could start fighting with other non-white people. We could start brawling and saying, Chinese people have done incorrect things to us. It could go a lot of different ways. I think it would have a lot to do with the mindset of the black people who go about the business of ending racism, white supremacy, and what they want the world to look like in the absence of white people. I think that would go a long way to determining how we'll be functioning and behaving. We could just try and be, darker-skinned white people. That could be. I see a lot of evidence of that right now. Us just trying to emulate white people. That could be. So I really couldn't say. I know I would hope for myself, if there were no white people, I would like to go about the business of establishing justice, to see that no one is mistreated. If we are capable of being the greatest builders, let's go about that. I'm trying to get to different parts of the universe, not just this planet, other parts of the universe. Let's live to the fullest ability of our potential. That's what I would want, but I don't know if everybody would want that. I guess in response to I guess the gentleman who commented and King Samir, I'll be very clear about what I said in my statement with regards to the comment about black people being the greatest builders. Now, again, I'm using the sports analogy. I think black people, unfortunately, that's something we're very familiar with, unfortunately. In sports, I don't think it is correct to say, well, the Lakers, they had a dynasty in 1850, and so we were the greatest basketball team. Excuse me, we are the greatest basketball team, and I'll point to the dynasty where we ruled for 10 years. Not if we won 5 games last year. And that's racism, white supremacy. For me, it is not true to say we are the greatest builders and you can't point to anything that we're building right now. If I have to point to something that we did 150 years ago, 200 years ago, 5,000 years ago, and particularly something that white people have stolen the credit for, we don't even have the ability to make it known. We did do this. You all didn't do this. White people have so much power that they can confuse everyone, including half of us, that white people did this. That, to me, is not evidence of the greatest builder. Again, it would be, if you say you're the best basketball player, I don't want to know what you did last season. I don't need to know what you did 5 seasons ago. Let's play right now. So it would be, what are we building right now? And if black people can't point to anything right now that we're building that would be evidence that we are the greatest builders, I don't think that's a true statement. It's not to say that we have not built great things before. That's great, but we were.
But brother,
wait a minute, you interrupted me. I didn't interrupt you.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Thank you. The gentleman who made the comment about you're taking it out of context. Context is everything. That's how you make a judgment. We're talking right now, November 2010. What are black people building right now, today? And if we can't point to anything to evidence that, then I think there should be serious questions about the validity of such a statement. Now I'm done.
All right. Well, I would never relegate anything this cracker has done over anything that we have, are, and will continue to do. The black man is God and the white man is the devil.
And look, I know we're about to do something. I got to jump in here on this one, though. I didn't cut you off, did I, Brother King Samir? Brother King Samir?
Yes, sir.
I didn't cut you off, did I?
No, sir.
Okay, I got to jump in here because I just got to make this point. Gus, I was 50-50 on this before. I'm going to say King Samir has pulled me over a little bit, though, because, brother, you made an excellent point. You said that you cannot separate history from the present, from the future. And I'm thinking about the cracker, every street he named after some cracker that did something to help get him in this place. Even though he does work, to Justin's point, he don't just sit on what happened yesterday. And you also mentioned something about emotion, too, though. We got to be willing to, I think in order to win this battle, I think even though intellectually it is true, it's probably not true at this very moment that we can say on paper that we want to prove it by things they're doing and things we're doing that we're superior. But I'm going to say we should do it anyway, because if you're fighting, that's the way you have to think to win the fight. We shouldn't be saying it and then not acting and fighting. See, it's dangerous when people take the history that we have and they intellectually masturbate with this history. And we built pyramids, we did this stuff, and then they don't go out here and fight. They don't want to fight white supremacy. They don't want to take white life. They don't want to build black institutions. They don't want to build black nations. They don't want to help brothers and sisters do things. They don't want to be active in the community. It's dangerous because they're inactive. But now, if you're taking what we did yesterday, using it as a legitimate basis to say we're better than them, we just right now we're not showing that we're better than them, and using it as a justification to go and do what we need to do, then to me, I'd go more towards King Samir's direction on this one, because essentially what he's saying is, so what, the cracker got all this? I'm going to take it away from him, and when I've taken it away from him, he ain't going to have it, so therefore I'm better than him. And that's what gets you up to motivate you in the morning. And honestly, I can fight the cracker better most days, knowing that he has an advantage, but I feel like I'm better than him, and I feel like I'm going to go take what he has because he don't deserve it. I think there's something to be said for that. That's just my opinion. I want to put that in there.
I guess I'll just quickly, if I'm allowed, I would throw in, I've seen a lot of that before. I've seen a lot of evidence of black people saying, I'm better than the white devil. Black people are gods. I've seen that. That's not new. It has not worked to replace white supremacy thus far, unless I'm incorrect. I have not seen black people making an effort to be completely accurate and honest in their appraisal of what is happening on the planet, even if they don't like it, even if it doesn't feel good, but it is honest. I have not seen that. They do say, I think, the truth shall set you free. I think black people should try that.
Well, what I'm hearing Brother Gus say, and correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but I'm hearing Brother Gus say we got to step up our game.
Show and prove. I don't want to hear about how tough you are. Show me. You're the greatest builders. Let's get building.
In the words of our esteemed Little Sister Justice, Brother Gus is saying he's hearing buckets and buckets of words. Buckets and buckets of words. We got to hit them hard. And I know that all y'all black men are doing that, and y'all doing it, but we got to step up our game. And I think War on Horizon for giving us this platform. I think that is one giant step in the right direction. We're going to do this, so we're going to open up. We're going to check the call-in line. I don't know. I got the feeling that people are sitting at home kind of prancing around like, when are you going to listen? When are you going to answer the call? When are you going to answer the call? So we're going to stop our question just for a moment, open up the line, and before I do that, the good brother did send in, I think he's still typing. Actually, I'll give him a second. I think he's still typing. He is typing up his, to clarify his point. So I'll let him finish that. But in the interim, Brother Gus, if you would go to, here we go, I think. Okay, so I don't have to read it. I'll read it. Oh, you told me you want me to read it, but you said I don't have to read it. That's a short. Let me know if you want me to read it or not, and I'll read it. So we're going to go to the call. We're going to go to the line at this time. But Brother Gus, if you could open up the conference call line for us.
Person who called in, last four digits, 7555, 7555. Your line is open.
Hotep Black Family. How everybody doing? This brother.
I'm just on Black Catholic. I don't know about them, but these brothers know these black men all in their egos. They over there. I'm doing Black Catholic. I already know who this is. I think this brother call it every show on War on Horizon. This brother Jeff out of DC.
Exactly, sister. How you doing?
How you doing, black man? I'm doing great.
All right, how you doing, brother? Irritated, Genie, brother King Samir, brother Gus. How y'all doing? Sister Justice.
Doing well, sir.
Black Power.
Anytime I can be here with my brother.
Hello.
Anytime I can be here with my brother Louis Ali and brother King Samir, the warrior, and sister Nefertari, and my brother Gus T Renegade, and my little sister Justice, brother. I'm doing as best as I can do under the system of racial white supremacy.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. I got some comments to make, man. I got a question to ask Brother Gus. Brother Gus, you still black, ain't you?
I'm sorry?
What I said, you still black, ain't you, Brother Gus?
Am I still black? I might have thrown off the team on this one. I don't.
Yeah, Brother Gus, you sound like it, man. We race first, man. I thought we was anyway. You see, saying we not the greatest builders and we done built the pyramid. I mean, the greatest, I thought the greatest, man, somebody had to come past you and build something better than you for them to become the greatest. I don't know.
I'm not content to rest on the laurels of things that I didn't do. I didn't build any pyramids. I didn't put a single brick, single piece of dust, anything in that. I'm not willing to take credit for that and say I'm the best and something I had nothing to do with at all. And I couldn't even point to a black person that did have something to do with that unless you know something I don't.
But I think token, Brother Gus, in truth, neither were the Jews. But down south, they always taught us that the Jews built the pyramids. And anything great, white people built it. And this has built our slave mentality to always be dependent on them, because anything great that we have done, culture bandits took credit for it. And what it does is it continues to break down our self-esteem to where we have no justified reason to leave the system of white supremacy if we're not equal or greater to them.
Exactly, brother.
I'm sorry, if I could just chime in real quick on that one. I think Louis Ali just made something real clear to me. And I think, for me, it kind of helps answer this question. Here's the thing. The reason, since white supremacy is so powerful, and it is, then we have to consider what are white supremacists doing to win. And Brother Louis Ali just hit a nail, I think, on the proverbial head. He said that the whites take credit for things that they know that we've done. Why are they doing that? It must be doing something to the self-esteem of their children that helps them continue to oppress and beat us in warfare. If that is the case, then I say that it is logical that there's some benefit to taking the credit of the great building that we have done as a race of people, and that essentially it can lead to a counter assault on white supremacy.
Brother Jeff, you had another question or comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm going to just say, I believe that black man built the pyramids. And I'm going to just say this. You wanted to know what are black people building today? You guys right here on this radio show, y'all building resistance to racism and white supremacy. So that's the most important thing that we need to build on right now in this century is resistance. So I'm satisfied with that. That's the greatest thing we do. And once we succeed, like they did in Haiti before, that's how I know we can still do it. Then you can say, you can use that example, how we topple racism and white supremacy. And you and all the people in this panel is a building block toward that. So you can count yourself, and I hope so, you can count yourself that you building, and you helping me build.
I appreciate it.
And also, before you say something, I'm going to say to all y'all on this panel, I'm still waiting to hear what he has to say about getting rid of all these crackers. So don't let him off on that, because I'm still waiting to hear it.
Hey, Jeff is throwing bombs tonight, ain't he?
Hey, don't worry, he ain't going nowhere. He's going to deliver that before we get off this phone tonight.
Let me remind y'all that Brother Jeff has a little power tonight. He can hit that button and be like, lost connection.
Hey, be careful with that. You know him now.
Yeah, I'm glad he's sticking with me. I ain't heard no elevator music yet, so I'm glad I'm still here.
Oh, man.
I appreciate that. I hope we are building right now. I think people who've heard the context of white supremacy, I'm waiting for any accolades, or if it is constructive, I think I say that consistently, that what I'm doing might not be constructive because the system is still here. So when we have stomped out white people and this system no longer exists, then I'll be willing to jump up and stick my chest out and say, yes, greatest builders, my name up there, Gus T Renegade.Is, yes. Until
you gonna help us?
I wanna.
Right?
Oh, I'm totally down.
We need to do that first. You gotta help us kill him first.
I'm totally down.
Then you can take your life.
I'm sorry?
I said you gotta help us kill him first, then you can take your life.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. You're gonna have to answer that question first before you get the pounding on your chest. Brother Gus. I got to hear what you gonna say about that answer.
That's the same logic I have. You got to show and then prove. It can't be just a whole lot of words. You got to show me. That's the same logic. So yeah, I'm on the same page.
Right. We still love you, brother Gus. You still part of the team.
I appreciate it, King Samir. Thank you.
Hey, don't be speaking for everybody else, King Samir. How you know we feel the same way? I think Brother Louis Ali was trying to say something, though.
Irritated is about to get kicked off the line.
Well, but we do. And Brother Gus and what he's saying is absolutely necessary to bring some sort of detente and balance to this discussion. We shouldn't be going around beating on our chest because we really don't have nothing to beat on our chest because we're still under the system. But in truth, Brother Gus, you know, in training a fighter or someone who's going to destroy the system, you can't tell them that they're not great. You ain't nothing. You're going to be a bum. You're going to get knocked out in the first round. Because what's going to happen is they're not going to go out for the first round. So while you tell them the dangers and other certain lessons, and I believe this is why young people seem to be braver than many of our older people, because you reach a point as an older person where you don't believe that you can destroy this system, whereas a young person is filled with fearlessness, and they believe that they can conquer and ultimately destroy the system. So I think it's very important that while we balance with what Brother Gus is saying, but we also point to those things that we have accomplished in the past in order to remember, as the sister was saying last night, reconnect our people to their greatness.
All right. Well, thank you, Brother Jeff, for calling in. Let's go to the next caller. And this is getting hot, Black Man. I know that I'm enjoying this show. I hope you are too. Let's go to the next caller, brother.
Person who called in, last four digits, 4656, 4656. I guess I should, the people that call, because people have called in at the Blog Talk line too. If you want to dial in there, you know, doesn't matter. 347-215-6071. And the free HD line is 760-569-7676. And the code is 948656. Person who called in, last four digits, 4656. 4656, your line is open.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was calling to make a comment about the statement about what have we built. Can you hold on a second?
Yes, sir.
You got 10 seconds for you, brother.
Yeah, and I was going to say that in Zimbabwe, they built in something pretty good and positive there. If the white imperialists would let things alone, they're trying to do something positive and something that's contemporary today by giving land back to African people, which was stolen from them. And then there's parts of the Bolivarian Revolution going on in Venezuela that we're part of. I mean, it may not have our name in letters up there, but we're all part of that left-wing movement that's going on down there. And I think it's important that we have to consider some of the things we have done in history. I wouldn't go so far to say we were the greatest builders, but I would say we were great builders, you know. And if we were to look around and go after the information, because if we rely on white people to give us information about what's being done in our name, they're not going to let it be known to us. That's part of white supremacy as well. But I would have to say there is some things going on in Zimbabwe that are very positive. You know, the people are controlling what's going on over there. They're trying to maintain control over there. But, you know, dealing with the beast that they have to deal with from United Kingdom and the United States, you know, in spite of that, they still are trying to do something and make our achievements more contemporary today as they were in the past. We could do a lot of things if white folks got out the way. So I would like to have a comment on that.
Yep. Thank you very much, brother. Anybody can jump in there.
If white folks let. If white folks let. He did say that.
Left us alone. Left us alone.
Let me, if I may.
Yes, sir. Come on.
There is nobody greater than the African people. There is nobody on this planet or in this universe or in the spaceship anywhere greater than the African black man and the African black woman. Now, since you, sir, made a statement that you won't go so far as to say that we're the greatest, well, name the people who is greater than what God has created.
Are you talking to me?
No, sir, I'm talking to the brother who just made the comment.
Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. I muted this line. Wait, hang tight. I'll put it back on. Okay, you're back on, sir. He's back on now.
I didn't hear the comment.
Okay, the question was, the response was, and then it's a question. There is no people on this planet, anywhere in this universe, in any galaxy or Milky Way you will find greater than the African black man and black woman. you made a statement to say that you won't go so far as to say that we are the greatest. Mm-hmm. Now, my response to you would be, name me a people who is greater than what God has created.
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yes, that question was for you, brother. Did you want to respond?
The reception was kind of bad. I didn't really get the contents of the question because I have a bad connection here. Maybe if you don't mind repeating it. I know he said something about he wouldn't, he made a comment about my comment about not being the greatest builder. I mean, I'm willing to give us the credit that we are due, but I'm trying to respond to the brother who was saying, can we show anything contemporary that black folks have done without including history? I think the whole statement is from my point of study, and is taken out of context, because I know history is nothing but a history of men building and struggling and trying to survive. And we have done that long before the white man got around. It's just like somebody made comments earlier that we taught them how to survive, And that's a great thing right there. You teach the enemy how to survive. I mean, then he comes out to you. He has to remember that we were the ones that put him on the platform.
Now let me just restate this question. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, the brother asked you, because you had stated that you wouldn't go as far as to say that we were the greatest builders. His question was, who are greater builders than African people historically?
Who are greater people? None. Nobody, really.
Okay.
Nobody really.
I think that was your question.
I'm in agreement with. I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with you, but I am in agreement, and you are correct. We have been, but at the same time, I'm trying to accommodate the other brother's comment. But we are greater builders. We are. I believe that.
If you accommodate two comments, it's either or. Either we are the greatest people, the greatest builders, or we are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Said this now. Either we the greatest or we not.
Now, in my own opinion, I would say we are the greatest ones. Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, I would say that.
Well, I think that brother has answered the question. Did you have any other comments or questions, caller?
No, I'm just sitting listening. Because I'm learning, too, just like everybody else on here.
Oh, no,
By the way, brother, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Long Beach, California.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep. Okay. And I've been in this struggle for a long period of time.
That's beautiful, brother. We appreciate your participation, brother.
Thank you very much, caller, and please call in again to. We hope you listen to our other shows, and we thank you for calling. Brother Gus, go to the next caller.
Person who called in 1259. Your line is open. Person who called in, last four digits 1259. 1259. Did you have a question or comment? Okay. I will assume they're just listening. Person who called in, last four digits 4788. 4788. Did you have a question or comment?
Oh, Chef, I'm just listening.
Appreciate it. Person who called in, this is Mr. Nero. Mr. Nero, your line is open.
Greetings. May I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Well, hotep to the panel. I am calling to stir up a little trouble. Just to let you know. Not going to go well for some of you. I find the agenda of exterminating white people to be narrow-minded. And I suspect it comes from a level of fear within that we all have of them. Because I personally believe that even if white people lined up today in front of the Genie's house and Samir's house and said, okay, exterminate us, get rid of all of us, and didn't even put up a fight, who do you think would come to their rescue? That's right. Your own people. They're going to gristle up that, not some, a whole bunch of them, wearing the title of Christian.
That's true.
So I think that we need to start thinking of this thing. We need to go back to the drawing board because their stated goal, according to Tommy Hart, and I strongly recommend that you listen to his work. The Gentiles, commonly called white people, their stated goal, sir and ma'am, is to reign on the earth forever. I'm going to repeat that. To reign on the earth forever. If our stated goal is simply to eliminate them, I don't see how that matches up to reigning on the earth forever, because they pull that off. And they maintain their position every day. You got to go back to the drawing board. And I'll let someone else chime in.
If I may respond to that.
Go ahead, King Samir, come on in. Just before you do, we did have one person that's a caller still on the line. Where can we find Tommy Hart's work that you mentioned? So if you can let him back in for a second, that's if he's still there.
blogtalkradio.com/lawmaster, I believe, should bring it up. Or you can just do a search on Blog Talk. And you don't have to believe everything he says, obviously, but when he says their stated goal is to reign on the earth forever, I'm going, whoa, we need to rethink our position. These boys are way out there when it comes to thought. If all we can muster up is eliminating them, I'm not going to put that down. I'm just simply saying we need to go back to the drawing board. We need something that's a universal concept that people can take with them forever, that works generation after generation. That's really all I'm saying. Our concept needs to be that well thought out. Everything needs to be codified, step-by-step procedures, how to get it done. And you're not going to get anything done if black people are Christian, Muslims, or Jews. I don't care what y'all say. You don't get nothing done. You piss it against the wind. If you think you're going to do anything, you cannot fire one shot until you first and foremost get control of black people's minds. And I'm done.
Let me.
Come on in, brother. I know you fired up over here. Come on in, brother.
Let me say this. I'm going to start with something he said earlier. When we are engaging in warfare, we don't have no time to be picking out which cracker we going to kill and which one we going to let live. If any one of these coons want to jump in the way, when we are at war with this cracker, guess what? The coon gets a bullet in his head too.
Yes, sir.
I don't have time to be sitting around here worried about what white folks is thinking, how white folks are going to think, and what white folks are going to try to do. These bastards are living and still to this very day because God allowed them to be living. I don't care how much the cracker talk about he's going to reign on the earth forever. He's a damn liar. His time was up as taught to us by Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1914 when Master Farah Muhammad came to the wilderness of North America. The white man's time is up, man. And to be really honest, no disrespect, but that sounds kind of weak. We want to intellectualize we need to get into the minds of white people. I'm sorry, sir, but that's weak. We need to put a bullet in the minds of these white people. Put a damn explosive shaft of dynamite in their heads. Until that, if we talk about leaving an existence of ideology for generation after generation, no, you murder this cracker. Whenever you see somebody who looks like this, you kill them. Don't befriend them. Don't take them in and give them food and clothing and polio blankets, smallpox blankets, herpes and AIDS and white prostitutes. They're going to destroy your nation, commit genocide on us all over again, and within the next 300 years, we're going to be in the same condition. I don't care what a cracker thinks. I'm about the total destruction of white people. Man, woman, child, white dog, white cat. Goes bye-bye too. And that's it straight up, man. If we're going to talk about freedom and justice and independence, hell, we need a military. Everything can't be sweet and cottoned out for you. We got to get out of this crooning talk. We're going to talk about genocide and justice for the white man, but now we want to try to intellectualize our ideology with white folks. So what? The cracker on everything. So what? We built everything. Only because he dumbed us down to torment. We don't even know we're the masters of our own selves. Why? The white man told us not to be. Killed us when we tried to learn to be. Executed us. Tortured and raped us when we tried to learn how to be our natural black self. I don't care what this cracker say, do or think. I'm about here total annihilation and destruction. And that's the bottom line to that. We cannot keep talking about freedom and not talk about some bloodshed on some crackers. That just doesn't sense. We think we can beat this cracker at the wall. He makes and change every day. It's just like our national chairman Malik Zulu-Shabazz said the other night. You're not going to defeat this cracker at his own law. Because every time you come, you find something in the UCC code or whatever code, guess what the cracker does? He moved the law over to the other side now. Playing chess and checkers with your mind. He created the law. You think you're going to beat him at something he created? For his own wicked nation? Come on, family. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. The only thing this white man understands is gunpowder. Say it with me, radio listeners. Gunpowder. If you don't understand, I can spell it. Gunpowder. Gunpowder. Click, click, clack, clack. That's what the cracker understands. Anything outside of that, he don't respect it. He will laugh at it and continue to disrespect you, beat you, rape you, murder you, torture you, set you on fire, set dogs on you, set more police on you, and set more faggot bombs on you because we still malproving and cooning. There's nobody on this planet greater than that African black man and black woman, the God and the goddess of the universe. Now, if anybody can show and prove that to be wrong, let's deal.
Woo! I need some.
May I respond to that, please?
Yes. Give me 1 second, brother. Before you do, I want to get all of the responses. I think Irritated Genie wanted to respond to. Just hold tight. I want to get everybody that all the round table to come in. You can come back. Irritated Genie, I think you had one to respond. I heard you.
I'll make it real quick. It's King Samir and put the thing. I can't even hold my microphone in my hand. It's so hot. I got to put it in the little metal holder right here. But I do want to say this. To answer the brother's question in twofold. One, logically, if we get rid of all the whites and we're successful, when we're successful, then it doesn't matter what that white male said he wants to do with the universe because he won't be here. So I think that resolves the issue. And two, if that doesn't satisfy you, as in our basic definition of black nationalism, we describe it in part as black dominion, which goes to something that, I got to stick this in here. I got to take this pot shot at my brother Gus. When we were talking about what happens after whites are gone, one horizon says it's not just something we call justice. It's called black dominion, which means that black people are in control of this planet, and we run it according to what our aims and goals are, which means those individuals on this planet that we have good relationships with, they'll be in a good position because we can have a friendly relationship with. Those who we have not had a good friendship with, and basically what it means is we make the determination who stays on this planet and who doesn't. And so Black Dominion is a world under our control. Whatever that will be, I can't tell you what it will look like because I ain't seen it before. But after the whites are done, that's what the world will be, Black Dominion. So Black Dominion will be comparable to what you said, this Pepperwood, whoever he is talking about their goal is to rule forever. In Black Dominion, the whites are dead, so they can rule nothing but the dead world, if there is such a thing, and we'll rule the living world, and we'll decide who stays on this planet and who goes.
Did anyone else, Brother Louis Ali or Brother Gus, did you all want to comment? Brother Louis Ali, I'll start with you first. Did you want to respond to the caller?
Should I just say, woo? I thoroughly agreed with everything I heard from Brother Irritated, Genie, particularly Brother King Samir. I want to add to it what he's saying and the premise from which he's speaking. He mentioned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think that should be checked into the evidence, as Brother Gus would say. Because when you are going to war on Horizon, you're using spirituality married onto intelligence. And I think that's good to say it like that. If you can get black people to continue to believe that they're invincible and that they're going to reign forever, then the liar, as Brother King Samir, he called him a liar, well, he's the father of lies. He is a liar. If he can get you to believe that, then we'll never remove white supremacy. So the whole spirit of warfare and intelligence has to be based upon us removing deception and falsehood from the mouths, as I think someone may have called them coons. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, well, these people who are under the spell and under the lie and under the deception of white supremacy, who come to your door, if you will, it's real important that we teach our babies who the devil is, and it can't be somebody up under the ground with red pantyhose on and a pitchfork. That's fundamental teaching for warfare, so that in the event, if we are successful in our first go-round or not, because when you go into war, it's not like a battle. It's an ongoing thing. And if you don't get them the first round, I lost my grandfather in this war. But the war continues through me, and it will continue through my children and my children's children. But it can only continue if the women and the men teach who the devil is, teach who God is, and teach what the mission is, which is to remove this beast from the planet and his system of white supremacy and injustice, lies, deceit, and deception, and replace it with freedom, justice, and equality. Until we're ready to teach our people the healthy teachings of hating the devil. I heard somebody the other night say, oh, you shouldn't hate. That's a damn lie. God hates. We should hate the devil. And we shouldn't hate him just because of how he looks on the outside. We should hate him because of how he thinks on the inside, how he's tricked and deceived the masses of the people to believing that we are all the same, when in the reality, if we were all the same, he wouldn't oppress non-white people all over the planet Earth. And the thing of it is that when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, no one is gonna fight if they believe that they're fighting godly, good, righteous people who are the builders of civilization. They have to be turned into who they really are, the devil on this planet. Get our people to believe that they're in Christianity, Muslim, Islam, or whatever it is called. They'll throw that away for that belief in what is reality.
Black family, let me just say this. I will just throw this plug in for Brother Gus. It sounds like on the Blog Talk Radio, we're running out of time. If you want to continue listening on, please switch over to waronthehorizon.com, waronthehorizon.com. Again, the call-in numbers are 760-569-7676. That's 760-569-7676. Access code is 948656. That's 948656. It looks like we're about to go into overtime, and we are not talking about no hat ball, no so-called football. If you ain't listening to this show right now, Black family, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you are doing. If you ain't telling friends about this, you got 10 seconds to get to get your family over here listening to this program. Brother Gus, you are up, brother. You respond to the caller's comments, questions. Before we go back to Mr. Nero, I would like for you to respond if you would like to.
I'm good. You didn't ask any questions, so he said what he said, and I'm curious to hear if he has any responses to what the panel has offered.
All right, we'll come back to you, Mr. Nero.
I'm still waiting to hear an actual plan on how this is supposed to be achieved. I strongly suspect that this is our fear speaking and not, the reality of what's really going on with black people and non-white people in general. I have assessed that this system is so powerful, you're not going to be able to just pull this off with black people anyway, eliminate white people if that's the goal. You're going to need all non-white people to get on that bandwagon. Now, do you think that's incorrect? Does someone think that's incorrect, that only black people are responsible for eliminating this problem? Or should all non-white people be participating in eliminating it? I'd like to answer that.
I hear everybody jumping in. Let me just pull a name out their hat. We'll go first with Brother Louis Ali.
I think that what we're saying, and I don't want it to speak with such vitriol that we miss the very important points that I'm attempting to put out here, such as we don't have a history, and I'm using the language non-white people, which my definition of black is color consciousness and a connection to our original God. I don't consider the people who speak Spanish down in Mexico to be anything other than black, even though they were conquered by the Spaniards. That's another show. But the point of the matter that I'm saying that I think we should put emphasis on how important it is to teach our babies the positive identity of the oppressor and our open enemy and tormentor. We don't have a history of doing that. Brother King Samir brought up the coming of Master Farad Muhammad. Why is that significant? That's what we should be asking. And why is it significant that he came? It's because at the root of our problem is a spiritual problem. We did not know that this people were the devil. And I ain't talking about no devil with red pantyhose on and a pitchfork. We didn't know that they were the mother and the father of all of the evil and diabolical routine governments that are up on the planet Earth. Somebody had to be the first begotten of the dead, mentally and spiritually dead, to rise up and teach that specific knowledge to all non-white people so that judgment could take place. Somebody had to come and begin, and it's a process to teach us the identity of who we were originally before we were buried under the N-word, as the irritated Genie would say. Somebody would have to do that in order to restore our spiritual dignity. And you know what? The problem out here today is that we don't teach that enough. If you don't have black pride and you don't teach black pride, there is no motivation of the youth. And it's easy for Satan to come and deceive them, not just that they're not black, but that they're not even a man anymore. They're a woman. They're confused about everything. So when you start talking about how we're going to do it, what is the foundation of white supremacy and racism? Anybody who has studied it knows that the foundation of it is a system of lies. Every time they open their damn mouth, they lie. And they get our people to believe the lies and then participate in their own menticide, suicide, genocide, and everything. White people are not the ones physically who are pulling the triggers, killing us every day, but every black person that pulls the trigger and kills another black person, they're killing them under the system, the educational, military system of white supremacy. And you ain't going to get our people to do anything different than that other than teaching them who the devil is, who God is, and who they are and what their duty is. So that's how it starts. Every time you tell the truth and you begin to beat the truth drum like we're beating it here tonight, and our people begin to hear that, they begin to resist the devil so that he can run from them like he done. Before, when you start thinking about the revolution, everybody looks at the gun, but underneath the gun, it was the truth and the identity of what the problem was in order to start a revolution. You can't start a revolution just with a gun, because if you loaded the black community up with nuclear weapons right now because of the strong miseducation, lying system of the white man, Crips would be dropping the nuclear bombs on Bloods, and Bloods would be dropping the nuclear bombs on Crips. So you have to start with teaching who the damn devil is, who God is, and who we are, and what our function is originally.
Wow. Brother Irritated, Genie, come on in.
Thank you. That's my brother. You know, I'm always on edge when I'm listening to my brother Louis Ali. I want to go to Mr. Nero's question and answer it, try to answer part of what he was asking directly. As an African nationalist, black nationalist, African nationalist, I understand that it is preferable to do as Robert F. Williams did, not only to organize black people to fight against the European and exterminate him, but if I could speak Chinese, or if I could train someone to speak Chinese, and to go and to do education among the Chinese that would teach them and remind them of the attempted genocide that the whites have been and are trying to commit against them, of course I would do it. It would serve my purpose. If I could go to the leader of the free world, Hugo Chavez, and in Spanish, Espanol, give a lesson to them, or have someone else do it in my absence, on behalf of the black race, to have them understand that the original red people of the Western Hemisphere, they have the same enemy who has tried to exterminate them and is trying to exterminate them as we do, and they have the same interest in exterminating that enemy, the white race, that we do. I would do that, and I would multiply that effort universally around the world, where there are people who are not white, even among enemy groups like the Arabs, who have particular groups of them who are fighting against the Europeans. I know that they are enemies to African people. I do not expect them to help us. But if in the interest of protecting their own interests, they are willing to fight against whites, even if it's momentarily, and that can benefit us, then I will be willing to invest as much as I think could benefit us in their destruction of the white race. So my point being, it doesn't really matter how it gets done. I don't care if just black people do it. I don't care if somebody white does it. As long as we get rid of them, as long as we commit ourselves to it, as long as we think this thought and act this action and get the end result, I don't think that it should matter one way or the other how it gets done. And I don't care, and to directly answer your question, I'm not saying what it will take yet. But if it does take that, or if that will work, I'm certainly willing to try it. At the same time, in trying that, I do not believe in the we are the world holding hands with every guy. I'm sorry, little sister Johnson, holding hands with everybody. I don't believe in it. I don't even like we are the world type holding hands with everybody people. I don't make it an issue to fight on it, but when it's said and done, I want African people to be with ourselves. I want our Native American or red people to be safe, and everybody else gets to pick what they want. That's my philosophy. They get to pick what they want. Do they want beef, or do they want to live in peace? If they want to live in peace, then comply with our rules, and they can live in peace. And that's how I would view it. That would be my way of getting rid of the whites and using other people to help us do it.
Wow. Brother King Samir. Brother King Samir, you still there?
he got this. I'm redialing him right now. Give us like 3 seconds, and I'll get him right back.
Woo, Black Panther, this thing's getting heated up. I know we are over the clock.
Okay. He's with us.
Yeah.
All right.
I was on the other line. I had to call in from the conference call number. I was sitting on.
Okay. So you were able to hear. Would you like to comment?
Yes.
Can I, King Samir, real quick? Can I drop you from the conference line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Freedom ain't for everybody. Seriously. Some folks are not going to make it in this struggle. As much as we love grandma and grandpa, they might not make it in this struggle. We are taught until we clean up our own homes, I can't come to your house and tell you how many roaches you got in yours. And I'm saying that to say, until we liberate ourselves, we can't really look for any other help. Because right now, respects black people. The Vietnamese right here in South Philly have no respect for black people.
That's right.
We live among black people.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us any kind of way, take our money, throw the money at us and all that. And we go right back into their stores.
That's right.
Latinos don't respect black people. Let's just keep it real. We know the white man has no respect. Chinese don't even respect us. So we can't look for others to help us out of this condition until we are ready, willing, and able to help ourselves get out of this condition. I'm not looking for nobody to help us because we have to do this as a family unit.
That's right.
We have to do this as a family unit. The Germans didn't ask Russia to help them exterminate the Jews and go to war with Israel and all that. They didn't. But during the World Wars, everybody was attacking who? Germany. See? They didn't ask nobody. They did what they had to do. And I'm not relegating Germany over any of us at all. I'm just giving you an example. But until we deal with our own struggle and our own problems, we will not be respected. Ain't nobody going to want to help us. Because we're going to get back tomorrow and start blowing our own brains out again over something foolish. Why? Because we have yet to kill the white supremacy in us first. That's the very first war, family.
That's right.
You got to kill Willie Lynch in you first. I'm not going to no Chinese and ask help me kill Willie Lynch in my own self. He don't know nothing about African culture. He don't care nothing about African culture.
That's right.
So we look foolish looking for everybody else to help us, and we don't want to even help ourselves. Until we go to war with self, we will never be victorious in anything that we do. Because we're always going to have that white man image in the back of our minds. We just don't want to let Susie or Penelope go. You have to kill that. To the depths of you'll be ready to kill anything white in sight that ain't right by tonight. As Dr. Collins said, get out of town by sundown. You got 24 hours. After that, we kill everything moving. Blind, crippled, crazy, faggot, lesbian, whatever you want to call it, it gets removed. And we have to do this as an African people. Yes, it's going to take a united front, but we got to create our own front first. Where is the African United Front? Where is it? See? And these are the things we have to continuously think about. Where is our defense? Where is black people's military? need banks and agriculture, and we need all of that, yes. But for some reason, black people just don't want to talk about fighting. We just we don't want to fight. We just want a peaceful march. You can't have a peaceful march with an unpeaceful enemy. You show this peace breaker that you mean war for peace. You're ready to go to war for peace of the African nation. I'm ready to go to war for peace. And give my life if I had to. Trust me, I'm going to do me some killing first. And do the best I can do to stay alive and survive. So I can see that next generation grow into fruition. I can be a part of their training and their growing and developing. As an old white elder with no white folks on the planet. And yes, we have plenty of internal family business we're going to have to deal with once we remove this cracker. Such as, how about those Africans who sold us into slavery? We got to deal with that. Y'all got some kind of price for that. But don't think just because the white man has done 99% of the damage, hell, you had a hand in it too, and now that we remove the source of all the evil, we got to come to deal with this family problem. You sold us into slavery to this cracker for some cans of molasses and a few chicken wings. So now we got to deal with reparations inside the house. Huh? I'm not looking for reparations from the white man. Cracker that line told us he's going to give us 40 acres and a mule. Hell, police tell you get off the corner, so you know you don't own no 40 acres and a mule. We go to the Chinese for vegetables, fruits, and all kinds of stuff, so you know we ain't got no 40 acres and no mule. We are the mule. We act like the biggest jack behinds of the planet, man. Because we have been taught to do that by this no good white man. So until we clean our own self up, I'm not looking for nobody to come and help us. We got to do this for ourselves and establish an African nation back on the map again. We got to make the world, entire world, respect us again. Just as Queen Asatwa beat soft and Peckerwood coming in to invade the country. And use black men as our footstools. Why? Because black men at that time were still trying to coon, buck dance, moonwalk, and intellectualize. Oh, well, they got more guns, and they got more bullets, and you know, we're slaves, and couldn't talk. And she killed the black man in her village because they were too talkified and sissified to stand up and fight and protect for the black woman. We got to clean up first, and it starts with each and every one of us. And I'm done. Black power.
Black power, black power, and I want to come back around to Brother Gus, and then we want to suspend the call for a second. I got a question I want to throw in here, but Brother Gus, would you like to comment?
He said what he said. I'm good.
Well, all right, Black family. This is getting hot. I'm enjoying this. I hope that you all are enjoying the show as well. Question I had is something that King Samir just touched on, as well as Brother Ali touched on earlier, in terms of getting ourselves right first. Now, a genocide of whites is an option for dealing with racism, white supremacy. Is it still important that we as black people hold on to our culture, our black or African morality, our sense of respect? Because some say, you know, that these things are not necessary right now. Not while racism and white supremacy is still in effect. Those things aren't as important. Once we destroy racism and white supremacy, then we can get back to figuring out what our culture, our morality, and you know how we're going to respect each other, how that's going to go. I would like your thoughts, brothers, on that. Again, if genocide of whites is an option for dealing with racism and white supremacy, is it still important that we as black people hold on to our culture, our morality and our sense of self-respect. And I'll start with Brother Gus. I'll come to you first with that, if you don't mind.
I would need a lot of clarification around black culture, what that is, what that entails. I already know just from conversations that I've had previously that that's going to get real interesting and be quite diverse depending on who you talk to. So I don't know what that is. I'm sure we could come up with 50,000 different lists of so-called black culture. I personally am of the opinion that the vast majority of things that people point to as black culture are pretty much just a response to racism, white supremacy. I am of the opinion that at this point, everything should be up for reevaluation. I think Nefertari has influenced, infected 99.9% of what black people think, do, and say, including so-called black culture, and it should be thoroughly examined to see what aspects of this support directly and or indirectly racism, white supremacy. So I'm not willing to hold on to a baggie just because this is something that black people have allegedly been doing for the last 5,000 years or 500 years or 20 years, just because black people enjoy this or it's got the label that this is black culture. I'm down for carrying forward anything that is going to be constructive, of value to aiding black people, stomp out racism, white supremacy immediately. And I think that makes total logical sense, not just because black people do it or have been doing it, because this has constructive value for black people. That would be my response.
Well, let me clarify. Okay, got a little echo there. Let me just clarify what I'm asking. Right now, you have black people who will come up to you, Brother Gus, and call you an N-word, your mother a B, and your daughter a whore. And some black people believe that we don't need to correct that behavior or cease that behavior right now because we're dealing with racism, white supremacy, we're dealing with these crackers. So until we get rid of these crackers, then we can talk about teaching that brother or sister not to call you an N-word, not to call your mama a B, and not to call your daughter a whore. What I'm saying is that when I say, is that something that we want to, is it important for us to check that now, or is it not important until we destroy racism and white supremacy, and then we reevaluate on the other side?
I think that is part of eradicating racism and white supremacy. I think the system, whites condition and groom black people, their victims, to do stupid things, to use the N-word, to just anything that's buffoonish and stupid and silly. They groom us and generally compensate us handsomely, those sort of things. So I think that would be a part of the process of correcting racism and white supremacy. I think white people would be up in arms if black people decided they wanted to get their act together and behave in a healthful manner and relate to black males and females to have better relationships. I think white people would wig out because that totally works against their system. So I think that's a huge part of the process, us cleaning up our act and, as I said, just taking a thorough look at whatever we call black culture. Because I know some black people would say that's our culture, using the N-word. That's our culture. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing. My mom did it. My grandfather did it. And they would probably be telling the truth in a lot of those instances. Thoroughly examine what we call black culture and say, let's pick out the things that are constructive and let's pick out the things that we think white people have slipped in and named black culture that is totally destructive and serves no value to us. Let's toss that out and continue to move forward. A total refinement, a total overhaul of what is called black culture to make sure it is absolutely constructive and what we're carrying forward will be of total benefit to black people and total destruction to the system of white supremacy. Does that answer the question?
Yes. Actually, I think that I'll take that answer. Let's go to the next person, brother. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. Actually, I haven't asked Sister Justice in a while. When we come back around, Sister Justice, You can chime in here if you like. And Sister Jessica, you can kind of just speak up anytime you want. I don't mean to pass you over. It's just so just about forget about you. Just you have a question or comment, just shout out. Would you like to comment at this time on anything you've heard so far? Anything you've heard? Sister Jessica, are you still there? Okay. So I'm going to go to Brother Louis Ali. If genocide is an option for dealing with racism and white supremacy, is it still important that we as black people hold on to our culture, our morality, our sense of self-respect? Or is it something that we should wait until racism and white supremacy has been abolished and then redesign those things?
I think it's important that we understand and use, I think I made an error and used the word fair earlier, and I was reprimanded a little bit about that proper. But by the same token, I think that we should know the difference and use the word correctly, black culture versus Negro culture. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to, as Brother Gus would say it, put on record and put into the information and evidence box that Negro means dead. And I hope we can get a consensus that Negro means dead mentally, spiritually, morally, and quickly, physically. When I hear Brother King Samir say black power, I understand what he means. Black power is not synonymous to Negro power. Negro power is what the NFL players and the NBA players and all of the people who are so-called rich Negroes in this society have today, and that's why they can't talk about anything black when they get their money up there. When you start talking about culture, and I want to move back before I get to that again and help us to think about and consider that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said that the type of Islam that he was teaching wakes up the militant propensities of the original black man, and that it wasn't really Islam, it was actually a wake-up call, and that he, at a certain point, we'd get something even deeper, but the key was to wake up the militant propensities and put a backbone again in the black man. When you start talking about culture and you start talking about it from a black premise, then we have to all come to a consensus again on what black is all about and how we will use black as a ends to a means, so to speak. For instance, and I've had this conversation off the record with our brother, the Irritated Genie, before. The importance in prayer. Prayer is the highest form of meditation, and it is to the mind and soul what a bath is to the body. Black people should meditate, think, whatever you want to call it. You can call it prayer, but I'm not talking about no spooky stuff, on how they're going to rule and how they're going to rule with justice and how they're going to remove the people who are unjust. If you look at many of the revolutions, it's not people just going out just grabbing guns. You have to get into the spirit of the revolutionary, in your mind, in your thinking, in your posture. There's no way possible that a person is going to be disrespectful, call each other the N-word, cuss out women, beat women and children and old men, rob and steal from one another, and at the same time remove the system of white supremacy. These are the people that are upholding the system of white supremacy because they're acting in a dead fashion. This is Negro culture that most of us see going on around us 24/7. Culture, particularly black culture, any culture is like gravity. You don't necessarily have to see it, but it has an effect on everything that you do. And I said this earlier, and I couldn't say it enough. The three things that really motivate our people to move is you have to create an enemy in the mind of the black man. You can't go around having black men who don't have no enemy. Everything in nature has an enemy. Worms are motivated because they know about the bird. Birds are motivated because they know about the cat. Cats are motivated to climb because they know about the dog. you have to tell the black man definitively from a little baby who his open enemy is. And the more he knows about his open enemy, the more he's motivated to have a more militant posture, not a thuggish posture, but a militant posture, so to speak, protect his women and his children and to fight for something. But if you don't have an enemy and he don't know that these people are the devil, then there is no motivation for him to fight. And if he don't know that he's a God and how he functions, so all of this here plays a role in black culture. So if you're an artistic person and you make a movie and you know the premise or the Trinity teachings of God, devil, and self, then you make your movie from a black perspective. If you're a doctor and you're healing people and you know that these people have genetically modified food that's designed to get black people sick, your whole motivation is to heal black people. Whoever else benefits from it, let it be. But the thing of it is your motivation or what moves you. If you're a lawyer, you operate in law from a black perspective. Anything other than that is Negro culture. So even when we send our people to college to get the so-called fine education, because they do not know God, self, and the devil, it always winds up serving the devil. And that's the culture that's out here now, service to the devil. Brother Gus made a point earlier about our building, but if you think about it right now, we're not free. Abraham Lincoln didn't free us. In fact, we'd have to say that we are more enslaved today than we have ever been in the annals of history. It is very easy to prove because mentally speaking, we can remember when black people didn't commit suicide. We can remember when the masses of black men were effeminized. We can remember when black men had some semblance of respect for black women. They at least wanted to respect and protect. But under this system, the rope is getting so tight around us mentally, spiritually, and psychologically until today, Negro culture dictates that we don't do any of those things no more. So we have to promote black culture and define black culture. I think we are doing the right thing by promoting insurrection African music. But it's even deeper than that. We have to promote prayer, proper prayer, not praying in the name of Jesus' name, praying for God to get these people off our planet, period. And you should go in any Christian church with respect to the black Christians and teach them to pray that God remove the white devils. Go in any mosque and teach them to pray that God removes the devil. Wherever you go, you should teach that because, you know, prayer changes things.
Praise Nat Turner. Praise Nat Turner. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to God. Let's move on to King Samir. Brother King, I'm sorry. Brother King Samir.
Yes, ma'am. I firmly know for an actual fact that culture is very important in this struggle. I mean, that's why we're fighting. To keep our culture intact, what we have left, for the conscious ones of us I'm speaking on. It's very important. Spirituality is very important in all of this because, you know, as much as, you know, we think that we ourselves are just doing everything and moving ourselves, there's a higher force moving us. I don't do anything outside of what I know the Creator created me to do. It's very necessary and important that we teach our children how great they are. As I always teach in a lot of my lectures, if you want to stop the killing of black people, teach the children how great they are. Because as long as they don't see themselves as being great, they won't see any of us as being great. So they'll look up to the the Jay-Z's and the C.O.W.S, and they'll look up to these buffoons as being great. But you throw the name George Jackson out there. You throw the name Celine, Will the Executed, to something over. So you need great names out there. Our people have our youth have no clue who. I asked a young sister the other day, does she know about the Underground Railroad? And word is bond, the sister said to me, yeah, well, which way you want to go, northbound or southbound?
Wow.
Across the street to catch the northbound, and you stay on this side to catch the southbound.
Wow.
See, this is what we're dealing with on a everyday basis. Okay? So, yes, our culture, and I'm glad Brother Ali made it a very clear separation between Negro culture and black culture, okay, African culture. We're dealing with Maya, the universal law and order, and the principles of the galaxies and all of that. Okay, that's culture. The universe in itself has its own culture. It adheres to each and every day. Because if the planet Earth decides, I don't want to spend 1,037 1/3 miles per hour today. I want to spend 1,038 3/4 miles today. Do you know what will happen to the universe? The whole entire universe would self-destruct. Why? Because it's not following its natural order of things. Black people are not following their natural order of things. This is why we are self-destructing and self-destructing each other. This is why it's so easy for us to do that. We do not see the greatness in ourselves. We don't. Every time I mention the word pyramid, I literally strive to put myself in that picture of building a pyramid. See, but when we think of the pyramids, we think this cracker whore, Elizabeth Taylor, built the pyramids. We think Titus and Julius Caesar and all these other faggots built the pyramids because white people have established a root in a black mind that we are the greatest on this planet, black people, and you are nothing but a slave with a chicken bone in your nose in Africa. So this is why now they can give you an image of Tarzan, a cracker swinging through the trees in our home, ruling the animals and the nature and just ruling everything. Because we don't see ourselves as being that ruler. Because we have been stripped of that to the very bone marrow of every African moral and every African principle that we could possibly live by. The cracker has taken everything from us to make sure we will no longer be the gods and the goddesses of the universe.
Wow. Wow. Mother Irritated Genie, you up, brother?
All right. Well, this question that you asked is very near and dear to my heart, and I want to say, first of all, thank you for being such a gracious host and doing such an outstanding job, sister. You bring something to the table that I think for all the brothers we would agree, that feminine energy. It just makes us step up to the next level. As people can see tonight, all the brothers have been absolutely on fire, bringing the kind of information and perspective to our people that black men should. And part of that is due to the fact that our sister is driving us. We want to make her proud and respect us again, even though we're in the situation that we're in. I want to say that, I hate Europeans. I hate the cracker because he's a faggot. I hate the cracker because he's a pedophile. I hate him because he's a dishonest being. He's ugly. His female is ugly. They have no character. They have no rhythm. They have no personality. They steal. They cheat. They rape. They murder. I hate them because the character of African people and just basic balance in life on this planet is completely disturbed when whites are alive. Everything about their character is completely disruptive
to peace, growth, and prosperity on this planet. And going to answer her question in terms of should we...
Somebody's moving around a little bit in the background. Just mute your phone until you finish. Sorry about that, Brother Irritated.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The issue for me is that as a black person, if I was going to get rid of all the crackers to replace them with a black faggot, or to replace them with a black rapist, or to replace it with a black pedophile, or a black degenerate that's going to come in and do the same damn thing that the crackers doing to black people, then there will be no use of getting rid of the damn cracker. Essentially, when a black person adopts the character of the European, then self-hatred is reasonable. You're supposed to hate a faggot. You're supposed to hate an unbalanced individual, male that would lay with another male. It is unnatural. More than that, it's un-African. It's against the very core of people that we are. You're supposed to hate somebody that would see an innocent child and go to rob their innocence from them. Well, we fight in this race. So if we're not going to try to maintain those characteristics about us that make them so repulsive to us, well, hell, we should. There's no reason to fight the cracker because we have become the cracker. So essentially, when some coon comes around, some Negro, some dead African who has adopted the complete European mentality, and they want to call us the same names that the cracker calls us, they want to do the same thing to our children that the cracker does, they evoke appropriate self-hatred. I do not want to hate myself. So my opinion is this. I'm not just talking about killing regular crackers. For those that all of us, Brother Baruti, I want to be clear now. And I ain't no perfect dude. I got plenty of stuff on my plate now. But I'm saying, Brother Baruti says, when you swimming in a sea of insanity, you're bound to get wet. I'm not talking about nobody being perfect. But I am saying, when we have individuals that are in our communities that are promoting European madness, particularly the extreme stuff, I want to kill them just like I want to kill the cracker because essentially, only difference between them and the crackers, they got chocolate skin. I'm not saying that there's not room for improvement. All of us, I think, at some time have done some Negro stuff. I still do some Negro stuff. I'm not completely sane on the system of racism and white supremacy, but I am saying this. I really hate crackers, so I hate people that act like crackers. So that if we're not going to maintain, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to quit this struggle because I hate my enemy and I love my race. But if I actually saw under no uncertain terms that our race was going to continue to be crackers, hell, I'd let the cracker destroy us. I wouldn't love black people no more. I can honestly say I would hate myself because the reason I love myself is because I ain't no goddamn cracker. Because I would not hurt a child like that. Because even when I've done wrong, I know right from wrong, and something inside of me that has a God, a relationship to the Creator. That I know that we're not supposed to pollute water. I know we're not supposed to destroy the land, the earth, that we got to plant our food. I know I'm not supposed to do that. This cracker don't know that, and even if he did know it, he wouldn't do it because he's not in compliance with the order of the universe, so he got to be destroyed. But if we want to be like that, hell, I want us destroyed too. I hate a black pedophile almost as much as I hate the cracker pedophile. And the only reason I don't hate him as much because I know the cracker made him like that. I know he got bit by the zombie and he became a zombie, and now he's out there doing this stuff. But I'm saying I almost hate him just as much. And to answer your question, yeah, I'm not saying a little bit, absolutely. If we are not going to be closer to the people that we were prior to European invasion, if we're not going to try to have good family structures, if we're not going to try to protect and honor our women, if we're not going to try to show respect for our men and accept their leadership, if we're not going to look at our children and say they can do anything that they want to do, if we're not going to do like Gus said, eventually try to travel the universe, I don't care what we do, as long as we do it with some character and decency. If we're going to abandon that, well, hell, I don't want the race. What is there to me to want about this race if it ain't about the greatness and the decency of who we are? Malcolm X, mistakes and all, was a decent man. When he became Malcolm X, he was a decent man.
Elijah Muhammad, mistakes and all, he was a decent man. More importantly than him being decent, he taught African people how to be decent, how to stand up and not go around acting like a bunch of slaves and be proud of ourselves. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he was a decent man. He was a good man. He wasn't perfect, but he loved black people. Nat Turner, he killed a lot of crackers. He was a good man. Everybody knew him, said that's a smart man. He's a good man. He wouldn't steal from you. This is our people. Queen Nzinga, she was a good woman. Harriet Tubman was a good, honest, decent woman. She was a killer, though. She needed to be a killer because we have enemies. Ida B. Wells Barnett packed her gun. She wasn't but, 4'11", 5'1". She said, if I might not do well, but if I can kill one of these lynchers before they kill me, I think I made the world a better place. I'm saying, when you look at these people's lives, they wasn't just fighting for our people. They were good people, not perfect. They wasn't running around stealing from each other. They wasn't running around raping people. We ain't had no giants of the race that would do that foolishness. I'm angry about it because I see it happening now. Everything that we represent and all those people represent is being clouded by a bunch of dead Africans who don't belong in this movement. They should stay in the dead world. If you're dead and you're not going to try to get alive, stay in the dead world. Stay in the underworld. Continue to be a drug dealer. Go be a hip-hopper. But don't come into something where what we're trying to do is get rid of the physical cracker and the mental and spiritual and intellectual cracker and then start turning this into that. God damn it, that's not what I'm there for. I want to kill the cracker. I want to kill his mama because she's dirty and she's a whore. So I don't want my woman to be whore. So I'm not beating you down if you're a whore, sister, but I want you to be better than that because that's why I love you. Well, God damn it, if you're going to remain a whore and you want to be a whore, that's what you're going to strive to. I don't want to save you. I don't want to protect you. I don't even understand why you would think I would want to do that. I wouldn't want to protect nobody that acts like that and intentionally want to put that to the next generation. So I know I'm going a little far with this, but I'm very serious about this. I love black people, not because of the condition that we're in today, for sure. I love us because based on history and my understanding of my race, I know that we are decent, good people outside of the system of racism, white supremacy, and white authority on planet Earth. So my object is to get us to a point where we can be those good people again, and the only way I know to do it is to maintain our decency the best we can while the crackers are here, and then get rid of their ass so we can take our decency to a new level.
Black family, you're listening to War on the Horizon. This is our monthly roundtable. And the topic of this month's roundtable is genocide, justice for the white race. It's been a powerful, powerful evening, and we are coming up almost on 3 hours. So what I want to do is circle back to Brother Gus. We're going to wind down a little bit. We're going to open up for maybe one or two more callers in a second. But I'm going to circle back to Brother Gus and ask him again the first question. I would like him to give his perspective on this. I know you wanted to kind of sit back and listen and kind of hear some things, Brother Gus. What is your perspective now, or has it, in terms of, is genocide justice for the white race? Did you feel like you were ready to comment on that?
I've listened very closely to what has been discussed this evening, and I guess I might be partly to blame for this. I feel like it kind of got sidetracked a little bit about the greatest builder thing, which wasn't really on topic per se, but I think that was important, and it seemed like a lot of people had perspectives that they wanted to share, so I hope that was of value and wasn't just wasting time. I guess what I would like to do, because it seems like, people had a lot to say and were very energized with their comments. Seemed like people were very passionate about what they wanted to offer in terms of their perspective on genocide against the white race. I would like to have further dialogue on this particular topic. Both those who think that it would be correct, it would be just to exterminate the entire white race, and those who think that it should not be done. I would like to reserve judgment until we have further discussion on the matter. I would be interested in hearing more. I think a lot of people called in that didn't get an opportunity to ask questions. So in the interest of promoting a continued dialogue on this subject, I will reserve comments until this comes up again when everybody's here, and we can throw a little more on the table, and then I can offer an opinion if that's acceptable.
Can I ask everyone with doing this show once every quarter? Would everybody agree that this show is good enough that we can have a show on this once every 3 months? King Samir?
Yes, sir.
Brother Louis Ali?
Yes, sir.
Brother Gus, once every 3 months?
Outstanding.
Sister Nefertari?
Hey, I have no problem with that, good brother. But I wanted to try to squeeze Brother Gus a little bit more here because I'm not quite satisfied with this answer.
Well, I would just ask if we can let him off on that one, since he's saying that he's bringing up and basically telling us that we have to go ahead and we have to do this on a quarterly basis. Then we got to come back to the discussion anyway. So we'll see if we can pinch him on the next one.
Okay. All right, Brother Gus. All right. I'll let you go. No, I just want to say,
and look, Gus, you better be lucky I ain't let King Samir get on you, because Sister Nefertari let you off the hook, but if I get Brother King Samir on, you going to answer that question.
Like, come on.
Thank you. Much obliged.
Oh, man. We love you, brother.
You said every quarter, so you got 3 months, Brother Gus, to ponder.
Yeah.
I think you got about 400. You got about 400 shows over there on the Blog Talk. Guests you interviewed. So you got plenty of research. Come to a conclusion. Matter of fact, you probably got more research than all of us combined with all the interviews in. But definitely, I do think that we should continue this dialogue. But before we go, I do want to get to a couple more callers. But before we do that, I've been holding patiently my comments to this whole discussion because I really wanted to allow you brothers to kind of talk and get your perspectives out there and allow the audience to listen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What I'd like you to do, I want you to wrap everything up, and then the last voice we hear, since this is your show, I want you to take the show out and end it and end that way. So whatever you're going to do prior to whatever you're going to say, if you don't mind, I'd like you to be the last voice because you're the queen, you're the sister. We have many sisters in this discussion, and I think it will only be fitting for the mother of civilization to have her word at the very end of that. Do the brothers have any problem with that?
Not a problem.
All right.
Who was that?
Justice. Oh, I'm echoing. There's a little echo. I just said Justice was here. There was another female presence on the call.
Okay, so she's still. I know she had dropped off from earlier. She's back on now.
I'm not. Are you here, Justice? She can speak. Her line is open. If you're.
Yes, I'm open.
She's here.
Okay. I asked you. I think I tried to get you earlier, but I don't know if maybe you had muted your phone at that time. Okay, well let's do this. Let's start with Sister Justice. I can do that. Sister Justice, would you like to? Do you have any comments or questions about anything that you've heard this evening?
I don't, but it's been constructive, and I hope we can do this again sometime. And I think if we keep doing this, then we can have more non-white people get informed.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, little sister. Thank you very much. Always love to hear from the little sister. And Brother Gus, we're going to open up for a couple of, we'll give maybe a few more minutes, maybe 5 minutes of calls. Let's see who we have out there that can jump in that we have not heard from yet.
Person who called in, last 4 digits, 1288. 1288. Did you have a question or comment?
I'm just listening, Gus. I thought I wanted to comment a little earlier, but I've actually enjoyed the back and forth, and I intend to be sitting here again in 3 months. It's contentious. I probably have a point of view, but I'll just listen tonight. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening in, sir. Person who called in from a blocked number, if you call from a blocked number and you have a hand up, your line is open.
Hello, everyone.
Greetings.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
This is Maroon Nanny. I spoke with you last night at the female conference. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all for having the courage and the strength to wrestle the beast that is white supremacy. I joined the show late, so if my comment and question has been discussed, please forgive me for repeating. But since I know your time is running out, I want to just put the question out there and my premise about something that occurred on Mr. Gus's show last night. And what it was is I posed the question to the female participants. I asked them to give their opinions about the complete elimination of white folk. And I gathered from their responses and lack of responses that black females do not have the stomach to complete the elimination, the stomach for the complete elimination of white folk by the hands of black folk. So if and or when an agenda is set to completely eliminate white folk, how can this agenda be fulfilled without black females? That's my question, and I know your time's running out, but I want to leave everyone with this. It's from Harriet Tubman. It says, I have reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of two things I had a right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. That's where I stand. So thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for calling and truly appreciate that. Please call in again. Please call in again as you have been. I used to be called in last night. We appreciate your comment. The first sister that called in the whole night outside of Real Sister Justice and myself. We appreciate you, please. Any comments to what the sister I think I heard? Was that King Samir?
Yes. Sister, the agenda is already set. Once the black man wakes up, the black woman shall follow. We have beautiful examples among us right now, Sister Nefertari. I mean, this sister's a warrior right here in the city of white brotherly love. So she's an example that I can point to the younger sisters out here in the street. If you want to be like somebody, Nicki Minaj is not the one to be a model after. Little Kim is not the one you want to model after. Look at this warrior queen over here. Or look at this warrior queen over here, or this one over here. Or we can go back into the history and get a whole list of them. And now they can have someone to emulate and feel good about and say, you know, I don't want to be like Beyonce. I want to be like Queen Nzinga. I don't want to be like one of these little cracker whore children. I want to be like Queen Hatshepsut. I want to be like Queen Bathsheba. So we have the sisters among us, but there are so few because the black man is so few. Once the black man wakes up, cleans up, and stands up, the black woman will follow him anywhere that black man goes because she now knows and understands this is a black man who knows himself. This is a black man who knows his people, and this is a black man who knows his God. Black power.
Black power. Black power. Any of the other brothers want to comment?
Yeah, I would like to chime in on that answer. I would say we cannot win this war without the black woman. And that is why it's so critical that, I mean, people want to understand